If you talk about copy and paste like in a derogatory way, all your cars are and none of your cars are fast. And honestly, if you tune cars and you don't own a fast car, you shouldn't be talking about another tuner copying and pasting.
I'm the fastest 370C 60 to 130. We have the fastest 350 CH 60 to 130 and affordable miles. There's a lot of people making a lot of power, but they ain't fast.
And after that flops and they spend 30 grand, they just go online and say 60 to 130 numbers are for clout.
Freshkicks. I want all the smoke. You can take the heat too.
Which platform is better designed for higher horsepower? What's the beef with Soho?
Oh, damn. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I came here for.
Cop some merch, guys. Hoodies are out. Hit the link below to cop your merch or head over to streetalpha.co to cop your hoodie. I gotta go back to editing. Peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Street Alpha Podcast. I am your host, Tukes. We are out here in New York on Long Island, out here at Pro Torque, and we have AdminTuning and we have Oscar all the way from Texas. They come in here once a month and they're doing the podcast. So let's clap it up for AdminTuning and Oscar. Sorry, there's a little bit of activity going on behind the scenes. So how are you guys? How are you guys enjoying the weather? It's raining outside, guys, so you guys might hear some raindrops in the background, but it's all good. We got to roll with the punches. So are you enjoying New York?
Yeah, everything's good. Same as always.
Yeah?
Nice to be here. Like it.
Much different from Texas?
Yeah, Texas is cool right now. It's nice out. You know, you get some rain in the spring in New York. Not a big deal.
So you tuned how many cars today?
8.
8. Is that like the normal when you come out here?
It's on the low side. We usually do like 15 to 20 a day.
15 to 20 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And how long does it take to tune each car? Roughly on average.
30 minutes to an hour, depending on the combo.
Okay. So can you give us a little bit of a background of who you are and how you got into tuning?
So my name is Moncef. I'm the owner of AdminTuning. I started the company. In 2016, but I've been tuning since 2009. Really just started tuning my own stuff. Started with VQs, but in a front wheel drive layout. So Maximas primarily. I started with like a 2001 Nissan Maxima. I bought it when I was 18 years old. I used a Greddy E-Manage Ultimate to start tuning it, worked through just some different setups. And then eventually I had a Turbo Maxima and then eventually a G37 and things kind of snowballed from there. Picked up UpRev and EcuTech and started tuning more cars. And we're kind of at this stage right now where I'm doing a lot of 370Zs, a lot of GTRs, a lot of like medium to high horsepower cars. And just, you know, it just kind of snowballed from there.
So you're primarily Nissan focused.
Yep.
Right. So I had a friend, like I was telling you earlier, I had a friend, he's my best friend. He had a 350Z and this is back in 2010. And at that time, there wasn't really any high horsepower VQs, but I think things have changed dramatically over the past maybe 6-7 years.
I'd say like 8 or 9 years.
8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
So you see a lot more of 350s and 370s with high horsepower and doing big numbers now.
Yeah. More.
So can you talk about how that changed or what made it change?
So a lot of it has to do with the owners like not being scared.
Okay.
Back in the day, the tuning technology wasn't really all there.
So what was available at that time?
So
for tuning?
Around the time where the 350Z was considered a new car, like as a DE or a Rev Up motor, which would be from 03 to 06, you had UTEC, like the Turbo XS UTEC. You had Haltech plug and play, which was on like the higher end. But then you also had UpRev, but UpRev was a stock ECU flashing software, so it didn't have like a ton of control.
Okay.
So UpRev itself has evolved to this day, and then also Haltech has been a little bit more accessible or affordable as well. So the main thing has been like better turbo kits have been out, and then better fuel, as well as like a little bit nicer tuning technology. People have been able to push UpRev a little bit further on like a stock engine. with regardless of what 350Z you have, whether it's a DE, a Rev Up, or a HR. You can kind of push it a little further on E85 since it lifts the knock threshold a bunch. And if you have a decent sized turbo where your back pressure isn't like crazy high, you can make some good power and it'll still last like a while, you know. And we have like we've had a couple of like the early like VQ35 DEs make 500 wheel horsepower on the stock engine and they'll still stay together. And we've had some HRs make like 630 or so, and Oscar's actually made almost 700.
Almost 700.
Yeah, we took it to the track actually, and he has the fastest stock 350Z, stock internal 350Z quarter mile and 60 to 130 record right now. With, you know, completely unopened engines, so not even gallery gaskets really.
None of that stuff.
So I would say turbo kits have progressed, the tuning tech has progressed, and then we have access to better fuels, and the owners aren't as scared as they used to be, I would say. So they do have a little bit more faith, I guess, in the platform, and it's helping us push the car a little further.
So before we dive into the specifics of the platforms and what comes in the motors, internals, and so on, can we kind of talk about tuning a little bit and how you got started with that?
So tuning for me, it started really old school. Like I was catching kind of that tail end of the generation of piggyback tuning still. So what that means is basically you have a separate box that's wired into the factory engine harness and you're manipulating the signals coming from the factory computer to get the output that you want. So I had a 2001 Nissan Maxima. Stock computer wasn't flashable. It had a VQ30 in it, which was a 3-liter VQ. Smaller architecture, but still decent, still liked to rev, did okay on power. And I was tuning with the eManage and Windows laptop. So you'd do your MAF calibration so you could hit your target air fuel across like your driving range. And then you would add or subtract ignition timing based on your data logs and stuff. And then, you know, whatever made the most power, you would just leave it like that. And that's pretty much how I got started. I did a lot of stuff with Megasquirt on other platforms early on too. And then I did a little bit with Pro EFI, on my Turbo Maxima, which I had bought a few years after I had sold the first Maxima that I had. Mm-hmm. We also did a Turbo Maxima build for somebody else on Haltech around like 2014-ish that made over 700 wheel horsepower with it was the most basic thing. It was Wiseco pistons, Eagle rods, completely stock head gasket, factory Nissan Juke head bolts, and a Borg-Warner S366 diesel truck turbo.
That's what I had, yeah.
On pump E. So I made like low 700 wheel. Ran that car pretty hard for a while. I would say probably one season racing, roll racing, rallies, stuff like that. And then eventually I think it cracked a sleeve. So that's just, and I kind of noticed that was par for the course for like the stock block casting on a VQ. Like once you get past a certain amount of cylinder pressure, like the stock sleeves and the stock block architecture isn't that great. But that was pretty much my start with tuning, honestly. After that, it was a little standalone business here and there. Mm-hmm. Got some more UpRev experience under my belt since that's what most people were using. Yeah. Tuned my first car on UpRev, which was a Stillin supercharged 350Z. You know, it made 350 wheel or 340 wheel. It wasn't crazy, but that was my first tuning experience. And those cars don't really make a ton of power with those blower supercharger units on there. So that was basically like me getting my feet wet. So that was in 2015-ish, I would say. And then after that, it just kind of rolled over into tuning more cars, getting a feel for different parts combinations, and then starting to document my findings and really just exploring more like what the platform can do from there.
You said you started with eManage?
Correct.
Is that Greddy?
Yes, it's Greddy.
So back then, I always heard that was like trash. Like when I got my car tuned in like 2015 or 2016, that was like something that I was looking at. I mean, it's kind of late to be messing with that, but I always heard that was trash. Do you have any idea why people would say that back then?
So the eManage is hit or miss because the Greddy eManage tried to be all things to all people at a time where a lot of those newer ECUs, like at that time newer ECUs, they were all OBD2. Yeah. So there was a lot of non-flashable ECUs out there. So like basically your pre-97 ECUs that came in like older Japanese sports cars, they were flashable and you could get tunable files from Nistune or Mines or like random companies like that. But like the OBD2 stuff past 1997, I think they weren't flashable. And what would happen is if you're trying to tune a car that came originally NA, you're trying to tune it for like a turbo kit, but you're using an eManage, you want the car to start enriching the air fuel and start changing your air fuel target earlier with a piggyback, but you can't adjust what's actually what's hard coded in the ECU. So eventually your long-term fuel trims start basically combating that, and you have like your tune basically gets completely annihilated like over time. So that's a lot of the reason why people said that eManage wasn't really going to work, like wasn't really working that well.
Yeah.
The eManage had a lot of inputs. It had a lot of processing power for the time. It was relatively accessible, but it tried to be all things to all people. Like on a factory Nissan ECU from 2001, it worked fine for me because it did what I told it to do timing wise. It did what I told it to do fueling wise, but my demands weren't crazy. You know, like it wasn't something where it was a boosted application. It was naturally aspirated for a while, and then it was nitrous. But when you're trying to put it on a car that's maybe it doesn't fully have like great control because the factory computer is too smart, then yeah, it would technically be considered garbage in that case.
Right.
So yeah, eManage kind of got a bad rap for that, and I've seen a lot of that on the forums, especially like for 2J stuff, like newer 2J stuff, S2000s, things like that. You know, you really have to use like a stock computer flashable solution, or just go with a standalone. Like
Flash Pro.
Yeah, Flash Pro. A lot of S2000s are K-swap nowadays, so K-Pro or Flash Pro. Right. A lot of the Toyota stuff out there, they just put them on Haltech or Link or something of that nature. So it's, you know, the piggyback generation kind of was a flash in the pan, you know, for a lot of people. They wanted to try it, and you know, once the ECUs got to that OBD2 phase, they just got too smart. So they weren't really cooperating with the piggybacks.
Oscar, how long have you been into cars? Are you like a technical kind of person too, or are you just like the racer kind of guy?
I just love to race.
You love to race.
Yeah.
So how did you guys connect? How do you guys know each other?
Basically, I bought me a 370Z back in 2020, and one day I hit up some boy, and his name is Screw Willie. Shout out to my boy. He's like, "Hey, you wanna do some road racing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." He got the crap out of me. After that, I was like, "Yo, what do you do to your car? You have a turbo or some?" And after that, he was like, "No, I got tuned, you know, stuff like that." Go to this website. It was AdminTuning's website. Got some intakes, some E85 test pipes stuff, fuel pump, injectors, full exhaust, and after that, just.
And which car was this again? This is a 370 or 350?
That's a 370. My first car was it was a 370Z.
Okay, so you started with that, and then you had the 350 after.
Yeah, that's is the fastest 370 in the world right now.
Oh, it's the fastest in the world?
I mean, 6130. Yeah,
entire planet.
So what is the fastest 370 in the world right now?
It's right here.
It's Oscar's
370Z. It's right here.
Well, quarter mile times.
Oh, quarter miles.
60 to 130 only.
I mean,
put an asterisk on there right now.
I mean, we haven't really done a quarter mile hit, but literally my 370Z was the first one and only car ever to go 4 seconds on the streets.
Okay.
We literally went one time to the track and we took the 6130 record. Literally one time. Never been to the track. Took it one time. We took that record. We also took the 350C. We took the quarter mile on a stock 350C record. And we did about 3 or 4 pulls on each car. That's about it.
Yeah, we had a few passes.
Yeah, that's about it. And we broke the records.
So that 370Z, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
I'm going to let you finish. But the 370Z, it broke the 60 to 130 record with 900 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
With the previous record holder allegedly making
over 1100.
Allegedly 1100 wheel
over
horsepower.
1100, so, and way lighter than me.
Way lighter. Oscar's car really isn't cut up that much. It just has a Kirky and like no passenger seat.
Yeah.
Full interior,
but it still has AC.
Besides the
no, it's good inside, but
okay.
The other car that used to have the record, it was like literally
plastic windows,
some front, everything.
Shit, yeah.
Damn.
I still have AC and radio in my car.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're dealing with like way less power, and we're doing a lot more with it. So pretty happy about that, and that needs to be there for context.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, since I've been tuned with Moncef, we've been just pushing the platform to the next level. Like nobody thought that HR 350C can get into 5 seconds. I thought it was gonna be a 7-second car. Moncef tuned it. First pass we did 6.1.
6.1, yep.
And we have 5.5 right now on a stock HR, an engine that came out back in 07.
Yeah.
So we're really pushing that engine. Till this day, I'm the only BQ ever to go 4 seconds on the streets. I'm the fastest 370Z 60 to 130. We have the fastest 350Z HR 60 to 130 and a quarter of a mile. So, I mean, since I've been tuned with Moncef, literally same engines too. We haven't blown a single engine. We recently blew a turbo, but not an engine. So that, you know, like I really trust Moncef on his tuning. Hopefully we can, perform over here right now in Texas 2K. Because I think it's going to be my fastest setup ever. I'm really hoping to get it into the 3 seconds, 60 to 130. That would be some crazy stuff, yeah.
With the HR, that's like the newer motor, right?
It's the 07, 08, 3.5 liter, yeah.
07, 08.
Yep.
VHR is the newer.
09 plus.
VHR.
Yeah.
Which platform is better designed for higher horsepower?
I don't know. That's actually I was thinking about that the other day. It's a very nuanced question because I would say the 3.7 liter VHR, like they're two sides of the same coin in my opinion. Like with Oscar's car, the amount of power that we made with a stock engine is, I would say it's unprecedented for the setup, but I would also say that the 370Z and the 3.7 liter that comes in the 370Z is a little bit more, like it can make that power. Yeah. It could make it with less boost.
Okay, that's another question I'm asking.
Yeah,
but the compression ratio differences make the tuning strategy a little different.
What is the compression ratio on is like 10 to...
So a HR is 10 to 1, 10 something to 1, but then a 370Z is 11 to 1.
11 to 1.
So the 350Z, like I have no qualms about just ramming 18 pounds of boost into it. Okay. Like with whatever timing it needs. Because like that compression ratio is basically like my safety margin.
On a 350.
On a 350Z HR.
Which is lower compression.
10 to 1, yep.
So
that lower compression gives you a little bit more knock threshold basically. Okay. So if you have more cylinder pressure, like it could stay together at higher power.
Higher power, yeah.
Now the VHR, which is in the 370Z, has 11 to 1 compression from factory. Loves boost, loves timing. It's got great heads. When you're dealing with a little bit more compression, you might have issues with certain combos, like certain setups making that much, like running that much boost basically. Okay. Like the turbo that he's running on 18 pounds of boost made 690 wheel on his 350Z. Okay. I would never try to put 18 pounds on a 68 millimeter turbo on a 370Z on a stock motor.
So I feel like 10 PSI maybe
like 15, 16 max. 15, 16 max. Because the compression ratio difference, like it kind of puts you in an area where if you're trying to chase a number, you could potentially crack a ringland or like break a ringland on a stock piston because obviously stock cast pistons historically they're not that strong anyways. Right. But at the same time, that compression ratio difference, it's not really going to take a beating for as long. And when we he's got probably like 15 or 20 60 to 130 hits on his 350Z.
Yeah, a lot.
And then we've got like 5 track passes on it. Yeah. Quarter mile stuff. Just trying to get it to, run a good pass. But like his engine is as healthy as basically when he first brought it to get tuned. So it seems like the HRs, with a little bit less compression, they just take, it seems like they take more abuse, I feel like. So it's a very nuanced question. For the average consumer, like you can't really go wrong with either. Like the tuner would just tune your combination for your goals / reliability desired, pretty much.
And with the 350, are we comparing it to because there's like a Rev Up motor, right? So are you only saying that for that platform or that Rev Up motor, or? So the Rev
Up motor is kind of the in between. Okay. So you have 3 generations of 350Z engines. You have the DE, you have the Rev Up, you have the HR. Mm-hmm. So the DE is like your pussy ass, like basic. It's pretty much like a Quest Maxima Ultima motor flipped the other way, type shit with a different manifold so the hood fits. So it's brittle, it doesn't really make a ton of power. It does all right. You know what I mean? But the Rev Up is like that in between. So it's got stronger rod bolts. It's got a nicer oil pump. It's got better manifold on it. It's got bigger cams. So it could almost make the amount of power that an HR can make. Mm-hmm. And if you throw boost at it, you could actually have it live at 500, 550 wheel on E85 if your boost ramp is pretty good and you're keeping the torque down at low RPM and stuff. So that's really the main things that the Rev Up is good at. Mm-hmm. But the Rev Up also was only made for 1 year, has like some documented oil consumption issues, when it first came out. So they're not really like out there that much. They're not like super accessible. The HR is basically the same cam specs as a Rev Up, like duration and lift wise, the cams are the same. The manifold is different. It's got 2 throttles. The block, and the entire rotating assembly is different. So it's way stronger.
Okay.
So like what you can make on E85 on a Rev Up without it like maybe potentially blowing up in stock form, like you're making that pump gas all day on a HR. No problem. The heads flow way better. And the rods are stronger. The pistons are nicer and everything like that. So it'll make like 500 wheel on pump gas. We've tuned a bunch of them into the 600s on E85. If you're greedy like Oscar, we could touch 700, but we're going to make you sign that liability waiver first.
I ain't signing anything.
So, it's kind of a sweetheart, like they'll take a beating. We've had some very basic rod and piston HRs, with like the stock block casting, just like cheap rods and pistons make really good numbers too, like nearly 800 wheel and stuff like that. So that's kind of the breakdown of the generations of VQs, up to the through the entire 350Z lineage.
So between the heads of all three, you said HR is probably the highest flowing, right?
HR is king for sure.
HR is king. Now, Can you talk about the timing and the cams on intake and exhaust?
So the duration on the standard DE, the non-rev up, is the smallest duration in lift. So I don't remember the duration offhand. I think it's in the high 230s on the duration, and the lift is like 9 millimeters or some shit like that, like some pussy shit, like I said. The rev up and the HR, they both have 248 on the duration. The lift I think is around 10 millimeters, and the rev up and the HR both have exhaust valve timing. But if you want to make power, and if you're building the motor, you're going to end up locking out the exhaust valve timing anyways, and just letting the intake cam phasers do the work.
Okay.
So that's not super relevant. The center line and the overlap or lobe separation angle between the rev up and the HR is different, but it's because the head casting and the valve train is different. So there's an entirely different pair of heads that they're going in. They just happen to have this similar duration and lift on paper.
Can you talk about duration and lift in very basic terms so people who don't know about it can kind of understand?
Sure. So duration is how long the camshaft stays open, and then lift is how far the valve gets opened in millimeters or inches. I mean, it depends on the platform, but yeah, duration is how long the camshaft stays open, and lift is how far the valve gets pushed open. So pretty much the more duration you have, it's combination dependent. Like camshaft selection does get a little picky, but if you have a longer duration, you could have a wider power band, like in your peak horsepower area. And then the more lift you have, the more peak horsepower you'll have, but it'll be shoved over to the right-hand side of the power band. So like higher RPM, but it's very, like I said before, it's dependent on the header selection too. It's dependent on like whether you have a stock head or a ported head. Intake manifold runner length makes a difference. And then as well as whether you're naturally aspirated or turbocharged.
So you can basically map out your whole build based off of the numbers before you even install it onto your car and know what you're going to make?
Correct.
For the most part?
For the most part, yeah. So
have you ever done that, or you basically have done more like trial and error, seeing how, because I feel like a lot of people do that too. They don't really know the technical side of things unless you're a tuner. But
so my personal builds all happen to be like in modern days, my personal builds all happen to be like VQ37s. Okay. And they all have stock heads and stock cams and stock valve train. So I haven't really done anything personally with the HR and specing the camshaft sizing for like a turbo kit or anything like that. But I have done it for customer cars with the assistance of the engineers at JWT. We have one of the only 350Zs. I think there's only one other 350Z naturally aspirated that runs 10 seconds in a quarter mile. Miami Z Power on Instagram, check him out. He has a 350Z that I tuned that is running cams and headers and little engine combo that we spec'd together, and I tuned it for him. It made like just over 400 wheel horsepower naturally aspirated, and it went 10 second, like 10.9 or 1086 or something like that in the quarter mile, trapping like high 120s in the quarter. And it went 7.7, 60 to 130 as well. So very fast car for being naturally aspirated. Yeah. And then there was another car, Tu Suave on Instagram. He had a Greddy 20G twin turbo 350Z with some custom JWT C9 cams. I think they were like 290 degrees duration with the biggest Greddy turbos you could fit. No idea what kind of power that car makes, but it was banging doors with C7 ZR1s on the street. And we do have video receipts for that if you guys
We'll put that up right now.
Yeah, we can do that because but those are really the instances that I was, doing the camshaft selection with the combination and tuning the car afterwards.
Right. With your car, can we talk about what's in your car? Because did you spec his car, or he kind of put it together himself and then you brought it to you?
So he brought it to me because he was opping hard back in the day, but he was like, "Yo, come save me because my shit's super slow."
My tuner was the Oz back in the day. Nah, it's because
we had a little misunderstanding.
That's what it was.
Talk about the misunderstanding. Let's go. Let's hear it.
So I got my 370Z right. I'm new to the community. I get tuned by Moncef. Literally on his tune, I was never beating NA. I was gapping everything. I bought a little better setup, and I scheduled an appointment. But back in the day, he used to have like his right man, and they added me to a group chat. He was, talking shit, and I was like, I got mad. I was like, F
Bad
you and your
customer
tuner.
service.
Wait, you got mad at him or his?
No, the other guy, the guy that used to schedule the tunes.
Gotcha.
So I told him, yo, fuck you and, F you and your tuner. And I just went somewhere else. And after that,
Damn.
after that, I went on a build engine because I didn't feel like NA was, after that I went nitrous.
Okay.
I was gapping all of his cars too.
Oh.
Wow.
All of them.
That's crazy.
No, I was ducking one of them. I was ducking some of them. They were turbo. They were a little too fast for me. So after that, I got tired of nitrous. I went on a build block twin turbo by SCR Pro. Shout out to SCR Pro. They did a pretty good job installing the engine and everything. Just on the tune side, wasn't it? My car wasn't that fast. It had a lot of torque, but topping, my car wasn't there. It was not that fast. It made numbers, but it wasn't that fast, and it didn't last long either.
How did you know it wasn't that fast? Like, do you feel like
my first race, I almost went neck to neck with a stock engine tuned by Moncef, but I don't think he knows.
Yo, that's unprecedented breaking
And then
news
after
right here.
Nah, it was
Can you please provide more detail?
It was a yellow 370Z.
The banana sat next
Yeah,
to
so at the
That's
point I
crazy.
was like, what's going on with this car?
Whoa.
Then I went back and they kind of tried to fix an issue. I was over boosting, and like 3 months later, my engine gave up.
damn.
But they took it like a man. They warranted the engine because it was on the tuning side, because on the logs it was over boosting the whole time.
Okay.
But the build was legit though. Then after that, they rebuilt the engine. I tested for like a month, and I was like, Moncef, I'm ready. We tuned it like a year ago?
It's been close to a year now.
Close to a year. I'll guarantee you there's not another ever build BQ that been outside like me. I literally drive that car every other day. I do hits back to back like 3 or 4 times a week, and that thing been staying together.
That's really the goal with the tuning strategy, honestly. Like having that flexibility of having a car that drives like factory, even though your setup's gangster.
Yeah.
Like and makes power. Like
most of these shop cars, I mean, you're never gonna see another BQ that is fast unless it's a shop car. You spend a ton of money. My setup is a simple setup, but it's just set up right and it's tuned right, And you see all these shop cars just sitting out there, coming out once every 2 months and going back to the shop. My car is outside every day. If any other BQ, any other 370Z feel some type of way about it, they can see me at Texas 2K. Simple as that.
Why is there? Because you said there's really nobody else that can sit with you, right?
I don't think on the street there's another BQ or 370Z that can sit with me. On the track we do have Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. He's doing his thing on the track, especially on the quarter mile. Yeah,
period. Yep.
But that's a 350Z.
Okay.
But and it's a DE, which those DE engines, they suck when they're stock block.
Yeah.
But once you build them,
they do something.
they got it.
Yeah, they do something when they're built.
Yeah.
You said the car should have been doing better numbers, right? Or should have been faster. When that's why you went to him. You went back to him, right?
Yeah, because
But how did you know that? Like, what made you say, like, aside from the overboosting and what they were telling you?
basically they built my whole car, right?
Okay.
And I got tuned. I believe I made 824 wheel horsepower.
Okay.
And I was neck to neck with a car that made 640. And I was probably lighter than him.
The street math doesn't add up.
You know what I mean?
And we need to bring that up in the pod too,
so
because we have some other.
The tuning side wasn't there, you know. I know the car was built right because the car felt responsive. It felt just right. But just when it came to racing, it just wasn't there, you know. It was not putting in work. But on the second engine, I literally got tuned by Moncef, and I think on the first pass, 60-130, I ran a 5.6, and it was my first time ever. And it was summertime in Texas, 94 degrees outside.
Hot outside,
hot.
no power management yet. We're still figuring out the boost by gear.
Yeah.
And seeing what his chassis liked.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was literally on a light setup, light tuning the Moncef did. It was the first tune. Then I think when I went back for a retune, and
I think all we did was change the boost by gear because you
boost
got,
by
you
gears.
got an alignment.
Yes,
we didn't
yes.
retune the car, nothing.
That's what it was.
I think you got an alignment and you got new tires. We put more boost in.
on third gear.
Third gear.
Because I was on
And
wastegate
then we
back
got
on
the
third gear.
anti-lag working.
Yeah. I was on wastegate all the way to third gear because I was not hooking.
Yeah.
Then I got it to hook and I was like, Moncef, I need, some sauce
Yeah,
on
we
third
put
gear.
the sauce in third gear.
And as soon as that happened, boom, car went
was out of there.
first time. Car went 4 seconds.
Yep.
60-130. Till this day, nobody else have ever done it.
So you weren't running boost by gear before?
No.
So what?
No, I was running boost back then with my previous tuner and builder. I was running boost by gear, but I don't even think I needed it because car was not that fast, the way it is right now. Y'all can go to my Instagram. Y'all can see my car just getting faster and faster. Every other month, my car just getting faster and faster. And it's not one of these cars to be just sitting, on the lot or anything. My car is outside. Like in Houston, Houston, Texas, they got fast cars, like way faster cars. But my car be outside, They be outside with the top dogs outside. And you never see a 370 or BQ, putting up where, I race 2 twin turbo Lambos, CR1, CO6s, the fastest MK5s. You know what I mean? You name it. And yeah, it's keeping up.
So can you talk about what you were saying before about like how the numbers don't add up to what's happening on the street?
Yeah, so that's actually a big part of like my progress as a tuner was because like obviously every dyno is going to read a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then every car is going to make a different amount of power based on depending on the location, the air density, where you're at, and those factors. So me tuning the car and having it run faster on the street than what the dyno numbers reflect when compared to another tuner or another shop was a really big part of what like made my brand stand out.
Yeah.
So for example, we had another guest that I was going to have come up here, but he wasn't able to make it. Shewantsthezeee on Instagram, Griffin. Shout out to Griffin.
Shout out to Griffin.
So he came to me and I don't even know if he like even was sure if that was a good move.
Yeah.
Like back then. Cause like he bought a car already boosted, had a little 64 millimeter single turbo kit on it. We tuned it.
That was king of the street back in the days.
Huh?
That was king of the street back in the days.
It was king of the street for sure. After he kissed the ring, it became king of the street. So he the car was tuned by somebody else because he had bought it like completely done. But the car he told me like this shit's slow, like what can we do? I told him, we need to do this, we need to do that. So we tuned this car 17 pounds, but soft boost ramp to keep the torque pretty flat, right? On a Garrett 6465, way undersized turbo for this motor, undersized turbo kit for this motor. This car on a stock engine, 19s, full interior, 888 tires. It was going 6.4s, 60 to 130, but it was beating ZR1 Corvettes, C6 Z06 Corvettes, C7 Z06 Corvettes. It was doing damage. Hellcats. I mean, there's a lot of videos of it on my page. I'll share some with you, but this car was really a standout car. There was a video that got a lot of engagement from him racing a full bolt-on Nismo GTR. You guys know, hopefully you guys know, Nismo GTR turbos are bigger than the regular GTR turbos, so they average like 740, 750 wheel, like on a regular tune with bolt-ons. On E85, and he was still clapping that shit. So, it's just, he really put the 370Z on the map for a stock motor car that shouldn't be doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
And like, that engine lasted a long time. Like, yeah, he bent a few rods, like probably like a year, 18 months after or something like that. But, you know, charge it to the game. But that was one of the biggest things about me tuning these cars is like, does the car put the power down on the street? Like, can you actually sort it out so you're not just chasing a dyno number and the car does what it's supposed to do on the street instead of like fall on its face, pull a bunch of timing, get too hot, things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just that the street math and dyno math, like for me, it has to add up.
Would you say you're more of a conservative kind of tuner or aggressive? Like what would you consider yourself?
So I'm gonna say conservative.
Okay.
There's a lot of people, like the main thing about my tuning and my brand, like just me as a person, is there's a lot of other VQ tuners and Z tuners that are just like on wild dick lately about my tuning and trying to say like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that and shit like that. And like, I've looked at most of your guys' logs and you guys are running like 4 or 5 more degrees of timing than you need, way too much timing at peak torque and all this extra ass shit, all this goofy shit you shouldn't be doing. And you're talking about me and like playing with my name, and that's crazy. So, you know, like, you know what I mean?
Talk your shit, bro.
You know, I'm just putting the facts out there because every other log I've ever taken from any car, bro, the cars that I tune, they make the same power or more power with less timing, more conservative air fuel. Like, you know, it's just like there's a lot of people that are just going overboard because the NOx sensors aren't really like tripping about it. But it's like, what happens when you see full load in 4th gear on the street? Yeah, like that shit's gonna fucking pull 5 degrees and then you lost the race, you know, because your tune fucking sucks type shit. So it's like, you know, that's one of the things, like, and that's why we're putting a lot of like, not just his car, you know, like other stock
so many cars,
other stock motor 350Zs are going 560 to 130, like blowing the tires off. Like we got T50 in Florida. Yeah. He's doing like a burnout in 3rd gear, still going fast.
That's still going 0.5,
still
5.9.
Yeah.
Then
like,
we have my boy Abner
clapping 991 Porsche Turbo S's. Like imagine buying a what does that shit cost nowadays? 200,000 for a new Turbo S. Bro getting clapped by
probably more than that.
Probably put about 3-4 cars on here.
350Z old enough to buy cigarettes now. That shit crazy. That could never be me. But yeah, even with my own GTR, like there's a lot of like we share info and we talk with other tuners and we talk with other shops and I hear this and that. Yeah. And it's crazy that like even like my own GTR, like I'll be running less timing than what other tuners run to make the same power. So like it's just like me trying to take that approach. Like what's the bare minimum I need to get the power, you know, to make it. And that way it'll last, it'll take abuse, it'll take a track day. You can sit in traffic with it, you know, shit like that. And that's really what's important about tuning these cars. So
there was one thing that I think was kind of controversial was the whole copy and paste situation. Can you elaborate on that and kind of explain why it's sort of like the norm now for a lot of tuners nowadays?
Copy and paste is king. If you talk about copy and paste like in a derogatory way, all your cars are pussy and none of your cars are fast. And honestly, if you tune cars and you don't own a fast car, then you shouldn't be talking about another tuner copying and pasting. Like, you got to worry about yourself. You got to focus on your career, take care of your family, like take care of your shit that you need to be taken care of. Stop worrying about us because we already got it figured out. Yep. Like the strategy is a strategy. If we're talking about OEM Nissan computers, it's an air mass calculator. You scale that shit for your intake pipe diameter and your injectors, your map sensor calibration, and most of the work is already done. You got boost control to do, you got ignition to do, but if you've tuned more than 3 cars in your life, you probably know how to tune an ignition map. Yep. But if you're running your Facebook fingers talking about so-and-so, this and that, then you probably need to worry about tuning some more cars. So good anecdote about copy and paste. His car, so my 370Z, it's not competitive because it's full interior. It's slow. Don't worry. Don't
made numbers though.
Don't come for it, right? Because it's full interior. It's got AC. Like it's a fat car. But like I daily it. But it's a mid mount single turbo, 900 wheel horsepower 370Z with 1700 cc injectors, 4-bar map, 3-inch charge pipes, 2 cap pumps, and return fuel system. He shows up to come to the dyno. I take my tune, I put it on his car. First pass on wastegate pressure makes 700 wheel horsepower. Trims perfectly. Because we have the same injectors, we have the same map sensor.
Copy and paste.
Yep. Facts. Really, we had to do some work with the coolant pressure input because he has that. I don't have that. And then he has a different boost control strategy than me. But that was really where the work was. But the fuel and the spark shit, like he was probably, I think your motor could take a little bit more timing than mine.
Yeah.
But
because it's a lower.
I got 12-to-1 pistons.
I got 10-to-1.
But it's like,
yeah.
You know, it's an air mass calculator. It sees air coming in. It can measure it. It'll calculate fueling. It'll adjust. It'll calculate air mass. It'll make decisions based on that, and it'll make fueling and timing decisions based on that. So a lot of the copy and paste shit, like you don't obviously want to be just throwing maps at people and then just like not looking at logs. Like you definitely want to look at logs and then make changes based on the actual car itself. But like you're not going to go on this glazing spree talking about copy and paste in that way, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
There's also a degree of customer service. Like if you're dragging somebody's tune for 50, 60, 30 revisions, like you're doing a disservice to the customer.
So you don't think that there should be a lot of revisions when you're tuning a car? Like how many revisions top should you have?
I mean, it depends on the combo.
Okay.
But it's like, you know, you're dealing with a basic car with bolt-ons. You're dealing with like a flex fuel car, you know, like, or like a blower car with like a blower car, or like a car with a mid-mount kit, like some off-the-shelf stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 10 revisions, like 10 to 12 revisions. I've been stuck on a couple of cars where they take a while and we're dealing with like stupid shit, like fuel trim issues and this and that. And like, I got to own that. Cause like some of these cars are different. Some of these cars do act weird. But like, you know, we owe it to the customer to get it right. But like, if you're just dragging a tune for 30 revisions just on the principle of, oh, at least I'm not a copy and paste tuner, like you're technically doing a disservice to the customer because their tune is never finished. Like they can never race their car. Like we've had people talk about me and the cars that I've tuned and my work as a professional when their customers' tunes are never done. And I'm like, well, why don't you lock in with the 12 turbo cars that are in the exact same area code as you? Like, why don't you lock in for a fun run? You know, race one of them dudes. And they're like, yeah, my tune's not done.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
With my shitty old top mount kit, eBay injectors, and my tuner that thinks he's some kind of magician, you know, like because he's dragging this tune for 4 months. Like, no, we don't really get down like that.
Nah, like Moncef is saying it, like a lot of people always give him shit about the copy and paste. But Moncef is literally taking the platform to the next level. But you see these other tuners, they don't have fast cars.
Yeah.
But they be on the internet talking 24/7.
When did it get out though that you were doing copy and paste? Because it's not only you, it's a lot of tuners that have the same issue where people say, "Oh, it's copy and paste, it's copy and paste." But
I mean, it's been years, honestly. It's been a while. I mean, there was a tuner from Cali that started the shit because he actually was able to reverse engineer either the ROM files themselves or populate what was in the data logs into an actual tune file to determine like what I was doing with the tune or whatever. Damn. So like he actually went on the Facebook pages to try to drag me because he had used a dyno graph that I had posted of a customer car that I tuned. He had used that dyno graph to send to somebody else. I caught onto it and I called him out on it. So then he spazzed. And then he started saying like, oh, Moncef's giving everybody the same map. So like it kind of became a meme because like, honestly, like I wasn't even pressed about it back then because I was like, oh, well, fuck. I mean, you know, what are you going to do? Because like you don't have any fast shit. Yep. So it's like, you know, and then like my business kind of continued to grow. So it just became kind of a meme. It kind of a thing that we joke about like in private. But, you know, copy and paste with reflash tuning, like if you look at logs and you make sure that the car is like good, like there's nothing wrong with starting from like a really, really good, like really close base point.
It would make sense.
And
to do that.
Like I said, you know, a few minutes ago, dude, like a lot of these tuners, bro, same tuners that try to, you know, be on my dick for the copy and paste stuff, bro. Like they're running like 34 degrees at peak torque. Like they're overshooting their ignition timing by like 6, 7, 8, 10 degrees. And the knock sensor still isn't pulling it out. So it's just like, to me, like, what are you doing? You know, like your strategy itself is like not that good. Like I can make more torque with less ignition timing because I know how to tune the VTCs and the other tables in the car to make the power. So it's like, you know, you're trying to induce all that cylinder pressure by just like putting so much time in the engine that the engine thinks it's Friday when it's really Wednesday, you know? But yeah, I mean,
I think the copy and paste thing has been kind of a thing that people kind of grasp onto. Like that don't know anything about cars. It's sort of like, I know it's a weird analogy, but it's sort of like when you take photos, right? On my sense, I do production.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start every single photo from scratch. I'm going to have my preset that I configure.
Yeah, your settings. Yep.
Depending on whatever lighting it is. And then I adjust it. I tweak the colors because every situation is going to be a little bit different. But I have a foundation to start with. So it's kind of like similar like that. But I think people kind of got a hold of it and said, well, why is my tune the same as this one? Or why is like, I'm sure certain things are adjusted to a certain level, but it doesn't take you as long to do it.
Right.
So you don't have to do like
facts.
40 revisions
No.
on a car.
Yep.
You know, but so what you said is exactly what it should be, because I know a lot of people with the Supras, some tuners like drag on revisions and they're like on 40, and it's like they can, like you said, they can never race because they're still in the process of
Still working it out.
Yeah. So it kind of sucks to have that kind of I don't want to say customer service, but when you're going through that, you kind of have to have you kind of have to copy and paste a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
It's nuanced, honestly. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you're not gonna just throw maps on people's cars and then never look at logs ever. Like, you want to make sure that there's no issues present. You want to make sure the car is doing
That's
what
what
it's
they
supposed
think,
to do.
though. I feel like people who don't know shit, they think that you're just like, all right, you're good, you're set.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I get it, but there's always going to be people that don't know shit, you
Right.
know, and like you have to account for that, like as part of your business model. Like, you're not going to really try to chase down like the ignorant, like kind of like, what do they call them?
Yeah.
NFNs, non-fast ninjas.
Non-fast ninjas. Haven't heard that one before, but I like that, non-fast ninjas. With the Q50s, how similar are those to like the 350 motors and so on?
So the Q50, like after 2016, they changed the VQ for the VR30.
Right.
So that's a different engine entirely. Everything's different on it, including the tuning strategy. We actually don't do a ton of VR30 stuff. Our VR30 program's not that big, but when I do tune them, like they do make the power that they're supposed to make.
Okay.
One of the biggest pitfalls tuning a VR30 is they're picky with fuel. Like they're picky with like octane. And more so than like a port injected turbo car, a port injected NA car, of course. But the other thing too is just most people mess up on is the bleeding the heat exchanger.
Okay.
So like anytime they put a heat exchanger on, like most of the times, like people don't bleed it with a vacuum bleeder, so they have air pockets in the system. The car makes shit power. So we usually preemptively avoid tuning those cars until the vacuum bleeding is done.
Okay.
So we'll just usually make sure like, oh, we'll check for codes. Oh, there's a pending code for the water pump not working because the system's airlocked. Well, let's bleed it first and then we'll tune the car. The car will make the power it's supposed to make. We'll give it back to the customer. But we don't really do like a lot of max effort VR30 stuff.
Okay.
You know, anytime I tune a VR30 on 93, like the most it's going to make is like 430 with like 470 torque. It'll probably still be making 400 wheel horsepower by the rev limit. You know, on E30 or E50, it'll probably make like 470 to 480. We've had a couple touch 500 wheel on stock turbos, but our program for that is just not that big. We're mainly doing like VQs, GTRs, and like old Skylines too.
Right. I asked because it's like a competitive kind of platform too. A lot of people have those cars, and especially in New York,
They're actually really impressive drag racing wise.
really.
Because they don't have shit top end. Stock turbo, they're dogs up top. They don't do nothing up top, but drag racing, very impressive. Like stock turbo Q50s running 10s, like who would have thought that would have been a thing?
Yeah, that's
like I'm like, damn. Like the VR30 trans helps a lot. Like better converter, better clutches, stuff like that. Like that really helps. But you know, it's very impressive to see it. And there's you know, there's a lot of like new turbo upgrades coming out for them and stuff like that. That's pushing them up higher and higher. And there was a really fast Q50. I think you interviewed him.
Silver, yeah.
That car was a monster. I heard about it already.
Yeah.
I heard about the demise. It's sad, but you know, shout out to Silver, fast Q50, really putting in work, really sick turbo kit he did on that car. But yeah, you know, the VR30 stuff, like it's just not like a huge passion project for us necessarily.
So you were talking about the transmission in that car. Can you talk a little bit about the gearing in the 350s and the 370s and how that kind of helps? And also, you have the automatics and you have the manuals. So is your car manual or auto?
6NT stock transmission.
So how is the automatic transmissions in the VQs? Are they any good?
350Z automatic transmissions are junk.
Okay, so it's 7 speeds.
Those are 5 speeds in the 350Zs. The 370Zs are 7 speeds.
Yeah.
Okay, so across 350, 370, all autos are no good.
So the 7 speeds are all right.
Okay.
You kind of have to babysit them a little bit. Like they need a billet flex plate to work with boost. Their flex plates are actually pretty weak from factory, but you can get them to hold some power with that. The other thing too, though, is once you start like put enough line pressure to them to like keep the clutches from slipping in between shifts, like with power, like eventually you're going to break the torque converter, like it's going to lock up.
There's no like trans tuning for it?
So we can't do, no, there's no TCM tuning available for that transmission yet. We have some torque management that we apply to, our tunes depending on the combination, and that'll help keep the shift pressures up. But really what you're dealing with is a mechanical limitation. The converter is just too weak. Okay. It's also too tight for drag racing. Like it's trying to, like it usually tries to stall on you at like 1700 RPM in stock form. And that really ain't shit. Like you can't launch anything with that.
Yeah.
So we usually put like we'll do like an IPT trans sometimes. I got an IPT trans in my G37.
Okay.
Or a stock VR30 trans.
A lot of people do that.
I've had customers go mid-10s in a quarter mile with a VR30 trans and a stock VQ.
They're interchangeable? Like they swap right on?
There's some modifications required, yeah. Just crank sensor relocation and drive shaft.
The drive shaft, they got to cut it right.
Yeah.
This is smaller, yeah.
Yep.
Now, how much of a difference does that make, and how much does that cost to convert it?
That's a lot. Maybe no money-wise. I think it's...
There's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but power-wise... I don't know about power, but the way it drives the car is just insane.
They'll hold more power. They'll hold like 550 foot-pounds pretty easily.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It'll hold a decent amount of torque, and the converter is way better for launching. Like you can launch the car like 2300 RPM with a stock VR30 trans because the converter's loose enough. Mm-hmm. It shifts way better. It's got better solenoid. Solenoid. It's got better clutches in it. So it definitely feels good in the car, and it'll shift like on time when you want it to. Like there's no funny shit with it. So as far as cost though, I think like you could do it for probably like under $4,000.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
It ain't
is it
bad.
Worth it though? Is it worth it?
It is worth it.
Okay. For an auto, to have an auto.
If you want to make power, I think 600. I think 600 wheel and up. Yeah, I definitely think so.
The way it shifts a lot faster.
Yeah, shifts is tough. Yeah, for sure.
So now with the manuals, how much can those hold stock? What are the limitations on those?
So he's been making 900 wheel through a stock manual for a bit ever since we tuned the car.
Like nothing done to it at all.
Just, I think all he has is the clutch, right?
Upgraded clutch, upgraded lightweights. Upgraded clutch. That's about it. That's about
how
it
much
on
power?
the engine.
Not you talking about 900?
900,
horsepower.
Yeah.
That's what a car makes.
What are the torque numbers though?
I think it makes 700 foot-pounds.
7 foot, yeah.
So you think you're at kind of like the peak?
No, we're gonna push it to 1,000.
That shit's still good. The only time, I've broken stock 6-speed on a customer car, but they wanted like a crazy like anti-lag setup.
Yeah.
Like they wanted the most aggressive anti-lag possible, and that car had some big twins on. I think it had like the biggest like Zona twins you could fit. But yeah, they got on the anti-lag and tried to make like 15 pounds of boost on the anti-lag, and it just sheared the input shaft off. But everything else in the transmission was fine.
So you can see be holding power.
They do all right. I cracked the case on mine at like mid 800s.
Yeah, me is my second build motor, same transmission. I've been having that transmission on nitrous, NA, 2 build engines.
Yeah,
same transmissions, just different clutch.
It's hit or miss. I think it a lot has to do with like the tuning strategy and like 100%. How you use it. How you use it, because
it's about to give up though, but
he don't go crazy on the anti-lag. He lets it make a few pounds and he gets off the button.
I don't really, my car don't like anti-lag. It has twin turbo, so that thing is pull almost as NA. So I don't really be using anti-lag or brake boosting. Yeah. It just hits and it goes.
Do you roll out? And
that's what I do. I try to go like 25% into the throttle, and they just 1, 2, 3 and just let it go. All the way. Damn, just instant power.
That's kind of impressive. Do people talk about this a lot?
I was surprised, honestly, that his transmission lasted longer than mine.
At that horsepower is kind of crazy.
It's been lasting, and like people that follows me, they can see my cars outside doing pulls. I post everything. Making pulls every other day. First gear, second gear, you name it.
It's 6-speed, right?
Yes.
On the 6-speed, yeah. So is the 5-speed the same thing?
350 is...
The 5-speed automatic.
It's automatic.
It's auto, okay.
All the manuals are 6-speed.
So they're all 6-speed.
All 6-speed.
Okay,
correct.
Okay. And then the 7-speed is the automatic.
Yes, that's correct.
Between both of them, it's the same thing.
It's not the same actual transmission, but they're about the same strength. I would honestly say the 350Z transmission is stronger than the 370. I think they use cheaper materials on the 370, and the part number is definitely changed.
I feel it shift better too, the 350Z transmission.
For sure. 350Z shifter feel is unbeatable.
Feels insane.
Yeah, no, you can't beat that. You can get in the car and like not have any driver mod, and that shit will tell you, like, will guide your hand literally into the gates.
Goes in like butter.
Yeah.
Is there any rev matching feature on the
370?
On the 370s?
Yeah, on the Sport one and Nismo one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can red match.
You don't
Mine's a red
use that
match.
at all, or
Mine's a
We
red
don't.
match.
it doesn't?
Mine's is my
still use
370. I don't really. I don't use it as much, but you know, I have the option if I wanted to.
Right. It's probably
Yeah.
just be easier on driving if you're daily driving the car.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
it saves some life on the clutch. I
Yeah.
heard.
What do you guys think about an inline six and the V6 when it comes to making power or just in general?
So a lot of it has to do with the actual block architecture between the old days and now.
Okay.
The VQs are brittle block strength wise, like block rigidity wise, like the rigidity is not there. So that's a big part of Oscar's car and like what we're like really proud of. Like my motor and his motor have similar specs, but
Yeah, pretty much.
the block rigidity of a VQ motor and the V6, like the V6 VQ layout, is kind of like it's definitely a weak point, but we kind of were able to work past that with a really like simple setup. And we've seen like I brought up Shewantsthezeee earlier in the pod, and
Yeah.
he spent like he bought like a $20,000 engine that
It was supposed to
that
be
still didn't
bulletproof.
have the enough block rigidity to hold 900 wheel. So it actually, well, it was a head gasket issue we found out later, but the head gasket didn't even fit the bores on the block. So the head gasket ended up blowing after the car cooled down. But that's kind of like the biggest problem. Like the actual layout of the cylinders isn't an issue. It's just mainly a rigidity thing. Because like take a RB26 for example, like a cast iron straight six, you throw your little Nitto 2.8 kit in there, like you could make like 1100 wheel without like lifting a head, cracking the deck surface on the block, shit like that, as long as your block casting is relatively healthy. Like you might need to use like a RB30 block, but that's still technically an OEM block casting. But the VQ motor, like it's aluminum and it's really soft. Like, so it doesn't have the rigidity even with sleeves. So like you have to manage like everything else that's bolted to it, like really delicately. And that's kind of one of the things that helps keep the car together. Once you do the sleeves, you want to have like good block prep. So like basically you hone it with a deck plate on there. You don't want to do like a quickie hone with like a ball hone or some stupid shit like that. And then
In your garage.
and then after that, you know, like you basically pick your compression and your turbo setup according to like how much cylinder pressure you're going to expect to pretty much keep your block from twisting under boost. Now, with that being said, like you take a RB26 or a 2JZ, you know, or RB30 with a 26 head, like most of those bottom ends are cast iron. So it's just like, you know, you throw 35, 40 pounds at it and like, it's just not really going to like, it might stop making power, but it's not going to like start pushing coolant. You know what I mean? So that's really like the biggest thing in terms of like those two layouts. The best example, like pretty much the best thing Nissan has ever done is the VR38, because it is a V6,
Yeah.
Right.
but it has like the block architecture to not have those type of issues, and it has really good rigidity overall. So I don't think it being an inline six hurts anything. I just think like
design
V6
it.
like is like the packaging is easier.
Yeah.
Because they can keep a lot of the engine like behind the front axle. But aside from that, like it's mainly just a material strength, like a metallurgy thing that's gonna like make the difference.
So you would never take a RB26 and put it in a 370 or 350?
So I would never use any cast RB products because that would not make the amount of power that I'd want to make.
What kind of power do you want to make?
So I bought a R34 GTR and I'm trying to make like 1500 with it. So it would have to be billet.
Okay, but that's a billet. Like you're trying to go billet with it.
Yes,
Billet block.
because a cast block is gonna crack at that power.
What about if it's an RB30? Because I know you kind of
It will
against that
still
too.
crack. It's because it's cast. Like the cast material just doesn't have the strength. It might. I mean, it'll hold it for a few passes, but it probably won't hold it for like years on end.
So these fast guys in Australia with all these Skylines and stuff, they're probably using an RB30 bottom end. I'm assuming they're usually RB30 with a stroker. I think it's like 3.2, or maybe even 3.4 actually, which is one of the fastest ones over there.
So from what I've seen on Motive Videos channel, there's a pretty healthy split between guys that are using a cast RB30 block and guys that are using a bullet billet block.
Okay.
So a lot of the bullet billet block guys are still 3.2. I think there's a couple of outliers that are like 3.4, maybe a little bit larger.
Right.
But like, yeah, there's a couple of guys out there that just don't care. Like they're going to use a RB30 cast block and they're just going to send it. I mean, the engine really has to keep coolant pressure under control for like 8 seconds. So like, to be honest, the cast block isn't a bad idea for that that type of application if you don't want to like spend the money. But like for a street car, like I would definitely just go straight to billet, like for my type of goals. But I mean, I would say like, I think there was like, I think it's JMA Motorsports or something like that in New Zealand. I had actually asked them about that because I think they went 7s in an R32 GTR with a cast block. Yeah. And I asked them, I was like, yo, did that thing lift the head? And they're like, no, it cracked the deck though.
Oh, really?
Yep. So it really just depends on power. I mean, horsepower does ruin a lot of things. Yeah. Like if you keep it like 1100 and below, like you're probably fine with like stock RB30 cast stuff. But if you're really greedy for power, like you're going to just have to go billet.
It's funny because like before the podcast, you seem to have a lot of things to say about the RB26. It seems like you're more, forgiving a little bit.
The thing is like the RB26 only should go in some chassis. Like
why is that though? Explain, because I really want to understand your take here with this.
Because that shit is old. Like I love it, and I tune a lot of Skylines for the shop Houston. Shout out to the shop Houston. They also work on my car too. But that shit is old, man. Like sometimes you're not gonna bend over. Like you're not gonna be carrying $1 and then bend over to pick up a dime. Like you're just not gonna do that shit. Like if you have a very technologically advanced, very capable engine already, you're not going to like be like, oh, let me just go back 30 years to like make less power, be less reliable, and then also cost more money, and then maybe sound marginally better. So that's just my opinion. But like, but yeah, I mean, it's just.
Well, what about 2Js then? Because people do the same thing with those too.
The 2J is a better motor than the RB26. Like
that's proven already.
From a metallurgical, like just from a structural standpoint, Nissan has always struggled with blocks that were just good enough. They were like, fuck, we're just going to get through this season. We're going to be straight type shit. Toyota like really built that to last forever. Like if they're putting like billet main caps in like 30-year-old 2J blocks, like, they're not fucking around. So it's just one of those things where like, unfortunately, like I hate to admit it, like I'm a big Nissan guy. But yeah, the 2J does have a better block casting than the RB26.
Right. But anything else aside from just the casting of the block?
I don't know. I mean, the head is kind of a wobbler for me. I don't know enough about the cylinder head design between the two to like determine. I know the later GTEs have VVTi, and that's a huge help. And RB26 doesn't have that. Like you got to buy VCAM, to do that. So it's like, okay, maybe VVTi gets a couple points for that. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else that actually, that one has an advantage of the other. Unfortunately, I don't have any like actual data on that.
Well, on the Nissan side, I meant, because obviously, we already know what the issues are with the block.
Like which head is better between an RB and a VQ?
You said it wouldn't make sense to go back 30 years.
Right.
So if you put an RB in your car and if you put a 2J in your car, you're technically still
I see what you're saying. Yes, you are going back 30 years. You're right.
So
damn.
It's technically
it's
technically this like the same thing, but obviously you have the motor that's probably the
I gotta invoke the double standard. The 2J gets a pass, like just because the 2J just gets a pass. It's a protected class.
Yeah, 2JC.
Like it just is,
which is like, crazy because it's like if you say you want to put. I mean, I understand. I'm sure it's expensive. It's probably more money to do a RB swap in your car when it comes to parts. But
it just depends on the car it's going in, though, man. Like real shit. Like. I'm not taking any car newer than 2004 and taking an engine from the 90s and putting it in there. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Like a VQ, it has its flaws, but I'm not going to like it's not flawed enough for me to throw the entire thing away. Yeah. And just like put something else in it. Like
I'm putting a 2JC on my 350Z.
Well, they usually put, what about LS swaps? And that's common with drifters. They usually take the 350Z and put LS swaps in.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
So I get it though for what they want to do because they're thrashing that shit. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I drive my car, I'll do some pulls here and there, type shit. Might do like some 60 to 130 passes, might go to the track here and there, but it's like, drifting is just a whole other level of abuse. Yeah. And when you're distributing that abuse over more cylinders and you're also not using as much RPM, your reliability goes up. Now, if you're using an engine like 350Z guys, I would say the bulk of drift guys are the 03 to 06 350Z. So they still have some kind of DE, still had some kind of DE in their car. You're taking a car with well documented oiling problems. And timing chain tensioners that maybe were designed on like a Friday at 4 o'clock. And oil gallery gasket made out of paper.
Friday at 4 o'clock is crazy.
Like if you're chucking that shit sideways and you're on the limiter for multiple seconds, and so your pickup tube is right here, and then all of your oil is getting pushed right here.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
what do they call it?
fucked.
Like surge or something like that? Or?
Slosh. You're fucked, bro. Like you barely have 15 pounds of oil pressure at idle when you're like sitting on flat ground. Like, nah, you're beat. The thing about the LS is the LS Magic, it can run with very little oil pressure too. So like it will take a beating anyways.
Yeah.
And you know, once you do the LS swap, like you use a different oil pan and hopefully it has baffles and you're not really like revving it out like really high RPM and shit like that too, because you have the wheel speed you need to get sideways. So it's like, I understand.
Can't you just run like a dry sump setup?
A dry sump on a VQ motor?
Like if you're doing drifting.
Or just in general? I don't know. I think you can. It's just super expensive.
Well, just to avoid the oiling issue.
I've heard some people use like an AccuSump.
Okay.
Or some like variation to keep the oiling like good, to keep enough oil like in the bearings and stuff. But unfortunately, like I don't know too much about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying for the oiling issue, obviously that would make more sense, but it's expensive. That wouldn't really make sense if you're kind of
so
most of those guys are being cheap anyways with the.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like when you're drifting and you're running like you're trying to run a whole season of drift events, like you're like the answer is always the cheapest.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So your VQ powered 350Z that makes 270 horsepower like max, like on the best day ever, with oiling problems versus like a 5.3 from a work van. It's going to make like 100 more than that, like on 91, and it's probably going to stay running for like a few seasons.
Yeah.
Like it's way cheaper doing it that way than doing like a dry sump or like balling out on like an oiling system that's going to keep the VQ together.
Right.
But I've tuned a lot of VQ powered drift cars that like they stay together for years. So a lot of it has to do with the usage and setting up the oiling system.
So can you talk about these flame tunes? I never asked anybody about this, but
flames.
Nissans are 350Zs are notorious for that.
Yeah.
Now, does that have any effect on the longevity of your motor or your head or anything like that?
It depends on the customer use. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, do you do those kind of tunes?
Yes.
Yes.
What do they call flame maps?
Flame maps.
Can you talk about that process, like how it works when they hit you up? I never had one, so I don't really know like
I mean,
what you have to do on your end.
It's just part of like
tune.
if you have like some basic bolt-on shit, like we're just gonna tune the car. We're gonna charge you X amount of dollars to tune the car, and then you're gonna have these maps. Like you're gonna have a performance map, you're gonna have your flame and burble map, you're gonna have an economy map, and then you're gonna have a security map. The security map, all that does is just turn the car off. So you pay for the tune, the software license, dyno time, like as one line item, but you get all those maps. Like you can use them at your discretion if you want to. We can switch the maps for something else if you want to. Like that kind of shit like is easy to adjust on the back end. But like the flame maps is kind of a fad. I was hoping the trend would just kind of die off after a bit, but it just keeps going strong.
Yeah.
Like it's just so persistent. So but yeah, I mean you just you pull some timing on decel, you add some fuel on decel, and flames come out the back. Like it's cool like here and there, or like if you're racing somebody and like on every upshift you get a flame out of the exhaust, like that's all cool. Like we're all for that. It's just like if you just keep like rev bombing your car for minutes at a time, like you're gonna hurt something. Like you're gonna dilute your oil with fuel, you're gonna ruin your O2 sensors. Like I've had people say like they would openly admit to me that they use the flame map way more than they should, and then they ask me like why they have O2 sensor codes, and I'm just like, well, can you you should connect the dots and see that these things are related. But yeah, I mean we don't openly go out of our way to sell flame maps, like that's not part of our branding efforts, but it is included in the price of like what you would pay like to get your car with intake and exhaust tuned pretty much.
Why is it such a common thing on Nissan platforms? I mean, mostly 350Zs. Because I know in the Super, there's only like a few, maybe like one guy who's doing like the crazy flames
takeovers.
But
people want to show it off for the meets, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty cool to do it.
But can it be done on any platform?
It can. Yeah, some platforms are harder to do it on.
Why is that?
It's just the strategy that the ECU uses, and then whatever tables are available. Because some cars, especially direct injected turbo cars, like they're the way their like injector comp maps work and it's like some of their fuel target maps work, it's not really the same as like a port injected car that's a little older that may not be like as smart. So, you know, it's kind of hard to get that same effect because of it. You might have to just go into more tables and adjust more shit and like basically play with it more. And then there is some like, you know, level of how much throttle input you need to actually get flames to come out as well. So it's a little bit, it's kind of nuanced, but the popularity of it, I don't know. That's a good one. I've never really thought about it. I kind of asked myself why, but I didn't really like go out and venture like looking for an answer.
Yeah.
There are some tuners that like have built their entire business just off of flames, and they offer like different kinds of flames. And that's the corniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, some tuners have some crazy ass flames.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I've had people that have asked me like, you know, if they can have like multiple maps for different flame settings and stuff.
Now, your flames are pretty good though. Flames are really, really good.
I want to have flames, but I don't want to burn my bumper up. But I think it'd be cool to do one time, you know?
No, some people be doing it like straight up for like 10-20 minutes nonstop.
Yeah,
like,
that's really what will ruin your motor, because like once you dilute your fuel with or dilute your oil with fuel, like you'll spin a bearing like
then
easy,
they blow
quick,
the
fast.
engine.
So you'll spin the bearing.
You could, yeah. I've had a couple of people that will rev bomb, like they would have told me like they rev bombed their car for like 15 minutes at a meet, and then like their oil light, low oil pressure light shit came on, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Well, you know,
Damn.
yep.
Yeah, some people don't care.
Interesting.
I don't
They don't even
it.
check the oil too, because they be consuming little oil.
The thing is, you got to change your oil more often, because once your oil turns to gas from like bombing the flame map for hours, like, you know, you're pretty much like that oil is junk. You got to change it. It's not lubricating shit now.
Is the same for the GTRs? Because GTRs, those actually look pretty cool when they do it.
Yeah,
GTR flames are cool. Yeah, I mean it's pretty similar though. The strategy is pretty similar. The GTR is kind of risky, honestly.
What about the turbos though? They don't take damage.
Yeah, the turbos are strong, but there's a evaporative emissions box in the rear bumper. So if you're flaming too hard in a GTR, like you could catch your whole car on fire if it like ignites that shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Has it happened or?
Yeah, it's happened. Not because of me.
Okay.
Not like with my tunes, but like other tuners' tunes. I don't think it's a tune related issue. So like if you tune some shit and that shit catches fire, like that's the customer, not you. Yeah. You know, type shit. But it's like the there's like some evaporative emissions like shit back there, and yeah, once it ignites, like it'll incinerate like most of like the rear end and like back bumper and shit.
Wow.
I've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name the tuner though, because like it's not the tuner's fault.
So you have a GTR, right? And you just what did you do, like 8 seconds in that?
Yeah, 8.3.
8.3, which is pretty impressive. I mean,
That's
obviously
a start,
there's a ton of GTRs out here running crazy numbers.
Yep.
But it's full interior everything, right? It's basically
Full interior.
Yeah, full interior, stock computer, and radial still. So looking to try to go 7s with that setup. There's still power on the table. We made some suspension adjustments off track, so hopefully when we go back to the track, we can validate those and then just add more power, fix up the short track a bit, and get the number I want.
So what is the setup on that?
It's kind of a weird setup, but it's a billet crank motor, Boost Logic turbo kit, and 12 injector fuel system with a brushless pump and ID pump controller, and Shep Stage 3 trans, and DSS Pro axles.
So what are you expecting to like top it out at in terms of your setup? What are you looking to run?
I mean, this motor's kind of tired, so I'm not like really too horny to turn the boost up and just like completely scatter it. So I'd like to just go 799.
You launched pretty hard in that video though.
Yeah, but there's some wheel hop though. I think once I get that, once I launch it again with the different suspension setup, if it doesn't wheel hop as bad, I could probably go a little quicker on the 60 foot, and then second and third gear, put more power in it, and then hopefully get that 7.
How do you feel about the transmission in that car when it comes to launching and, you know, reaction and so on?
If you're scared, go to church. The transmissions are always going to be expensive in a GTR. Yeah. If you don't want to pay for that shit, then buy a Mustang or something.
What about the delay? Is that an issue for you at all?
No, actually, it's weird because I don't have auto shift on mine. Like I every GTR that I tune, every R35 I tune for the shop Houston, we'll put auto shift in manual mode for the GTRs, so the customer doesn't miss a shift. I've never done that on mine, so I always pull the paddle, and I'm just used to pulling it at the right time, and I've never hit the limiter. It must just mean the car's not fast enough. What did you 60 foot in that pass? 143 60 foot.
143. And what you know what your reaction time was?
Reaction time was slow because I was sitting on the 2-step trying to make boost.
Okay.
And turbos are kind of lazy, but
so reaction time with the GTRs is pretty important, right? Because of the delay.
yeah, it is. I mean, if you're racing on a pro tree, it's pretty difficult to actually get it to leave on time because you're basically racing all three lights at the same time. If you're on a sportsman tree, you can time it with that third bulb. But I mean, I went 8.3 at like a test day, so reaction time didn't really matter. I mean, I was just trying to figure out the launch. I just drove it up and got on the 2-step and let it rip basically, hopefully, and hoped it didn't break. And I was surprised it didn't break, so I let out before the finish line like an idiot.
So with that number, right, where do you think you sit at with other cars? Like, what other cars are you going to be running against in the street?
That's a good question. I've been looking at that lately, and I'm not sure. The GTR I feel like has a really good edge on the street because all-wheel drive and how smart the all-wheel drive system is makes it way more formidable than like a Mustang or a Corvette making similar power because they have to deal with boost ramp and shit and like the surface and the suspension setup way more than like we do when the computer is just like, oh, it's slipping, let me just send power to the front wheels, like shit like that. So I think cars that are making about the same power within like 100 horsepower or more might be a good race.
What are you making on that car?
The most it's made is 1540, but when I went 8.3, that was on like the 1400 horsepower setting.
So it wasn't like full kill?
No, it wasn't full kill yet.
So what about you? What are you expecting to do with your car in the street in Texas?
Well, right now,
Oscar,
I'm working on something big right now. Basically, trying to throw an extra setup on top of the twin turbos.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, triple pumps setup and some other little stuff we adding with Moncef. Some mix that we're doing. But basically, what been working for us is just keeping it simple. Like me and Moncef been talking about this for the longest. There's all the BQs that are built, people that pay 25,000 for these bulletproof engines, and some of them can't even do 800 wheel horsepower. And also we hear basically my engine was built by a 18 years old, literally fresh out of high school.
It was built by an 18-year-old?
Yes, fresh out of high school. Literally fresh out of high school.
Yo, child labor. You know how we come.
And it just, it's a simple setup, simple turbos, and a simple,
it's all off the shelf shit.
Yeah.
Like,
and it just been putting in work, simple stuff just work. If you have the, right setup and the right tune. You have all these BQs, trying some expensive stuff.
They just
25,000 engines.
Shops.
Yeah, 25,000 engines, 10,000 plus booster kits and all these setups, and they don't make power. Yeah. And if they do, they can put it, on the streets when it matters.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people making a lot of power, but they ain't fast.
And after that shit flops and they spend 30 grand, they just go online and say 60 to 130 numbers are for clout.
There's a lot of other BQs making more power than me, and none of them not even close to.
Not that fast. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not even close to what I'm running.
So how much did you put into your car to make it run what it's running right now?
Money wise?
Yeah. So not any rebuilds or anything, obviously, but just like one time.
Basically, I think you can have my setup with $30,000.
$30K.
Yeah, my
aside
whole
from the car,
setup.
Right? Just the setup itself.
Yeah, but it's like.
I think you could do it cheaper.
I think you can do it cheaper. No, if you know what you're doing, I think you can do it with like 20,000, 25,000. You think?
Is that with labor included though, or is that you doing it yourself?
What do you think, Moncef?
Because that labor is a big part.
It's because that's the problem,
honestly,
though.
Bro, let me add it up in my head real quick. So
I think if it's a shop's around 30,000.
I think long block and turbo kit is 17 grand already.
Around there, yeah.
Shit. Okay.
So because they not cutting no deals on that AAM turbo kit.
Yeah.
Sure. That's just 9 grand.
Yeah, it's because twin turbo kits are expensive.
Yeah.
Twin turbo kits, that's.
But you got to convert it to external gates too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my twin turbo is basically more expensive than my engine is a cheap setup.
Yep.
It's literally the cheapest setup BQ engines out there, and it just put in work because it just set up right. And like Moncef was saying, basic stuff work. You have these other companies coming out with like $20,000, $25,000 engines. They were supposed to make 1,300 wheel horsepower and take the BQ platform to like the next level. Mm-hmm. That was 3 years ago. It hasn't happened yet. I haven't even seen one of them make 900.
Yeah. Well,
that stays together.
I think Shewantsthezeee's motor had like pieces of head gasket floating in the expansion tank. Like he popped open the coolant tank in the There's pieces of copper in there.
I think it was. I mean, that engine literally lasted. I think it was just braking period about a month, and literally sees on the dyno, it had lifted the heads.
Yep.
Which is one of the biggest problems with this BQ engine. It just heads. So if anybody out there trying to build their BQ, please go with Dynasty head gaskets.
Yeah, Dynasty head gasket for sure.
When you say the heads, you mean like lifting or?
Yeah, just lifting.
heads.
But it's more of a block rigidity issue than the actual head, like lifting. Because basically what happens is like the cylinder pressure will make the block flex, and that'll break the head gasket seal. So really like machine work, head stud, head gasket.
Any porting on the heads?
Neither of us have any port.
And there's no benefit.
Bro,
There's no
I don't have no
benefit to doing
sleeve, none of that stuff.
Okay.
I don't think there's a benefit. We've never tried it.
Yeah.
Leadfoot has ported heads. We might see what his does.
Leadfoot. Oh yeah, shout out to Leadfoot. He's
got
BQ,
a nasty car coming out soon.
If it works, that thing is gonna be
That'll be the
top.
That'll be the next one.
That's
If
gonna
the
be.
heads, if the heads flow pretty well already, I mean, you probably won't see any significant gains horsepower wise.
Yeah,
Supporting, right?
I'm not. I told him not to expect much, but we had the machine shop do a little pocket pour
Yeah.
on his because he wanted to try it. So, but yeah, man. I mean, those like modern. This is the thing. Like between like old Nissan, like RB Nissan stuff, and like new Nissan stuff, like you trade. It's almost like a trade. Like you're trading like a decently strong block and a shittier flowing head with no VVT to like fragile tinfoil block, but like amazing flowing heads.
Yeah.
And like they don't really like even like the head and the combustion chamber design is so good. Like they just run away with timing. Like they take timing, they make power. Like it's great. Like as long as the fuel, like octane is there, like they eat. And it's awesome what they can do in stock form. Like my Infiniti, like it's a stock motor. I've been driving it, dailying it for like close to 5 years now.
Yeah.
And it's got a little Vortec blower on it, air to air. And it makes 630 wheel on the stock engine.
Damn.
And I daily it on, it's got a flex sensor, so 93, 85, whatever.
Yeah.
And it makes the power and it stays together. So like the heads do really good.
Yeah.
So I don't think porting's really going to do much.
85 in both setups, or you guys running any race gas?
Yeah.
We're both on E85.
Yeah, on the 85.
E85 straight out the pump.
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, pump.
Yeah, I haven't
85,
used other. E85. I've been using E85 for the last 3 or 4 years.
No
I never
Ignite
used
or anything
93.
like that ever.
So I've actually played with X98 on my GTR.
Okay.
And I've actually used a C85 M5 mix on my GTR a few years ago. That was pretty cool because it got like my turbos were maxed out back then. I was running smaller turbos, but it got me like another 100 and some horsepower on the same boost over a pumpy. But between X98 and pumpy 85,
It ain't much difference.
Yeah, I mean the detonation protection is good.
Yeah.
But my GTR runs the same 60 to 130 and 100 to 150 on the $2 a gallon E85 compared to the X98 for the $15 a gallon.
My car does pretty good on ethanol 1R. My car likes that.
Yeah, 1R is tough.
Yeah,
man.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
So do you guys know Freshkicks?
Freshkicks. I want all the smoke. Please come to.
Please
come to Texas 2K. I want all the smoke. You can take the heat too.
I'm not
respectfully
with that gentleman.
You don't know Freshkicks?
Could you elaborate, please?
Is he the cloud guy that don't want to do a 60 to 130 because he said that he don't like cloud?
Does he have a bio full of duds?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. What does that mean? Elaborate. I didn't even know you guys are gonna respond like that.
I'm mostly fucking around. I've talked to Kicks a few times.
No. I mean, he also being pretty cool. To be honest, like I have respect for him because
he's had a 350Z forever, dude.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
what
was
I'm asking because he's
he was
known for that car.
He was one of the first ones.
A lot of his brand has to do with 350Z. So
100%. 350Z versus the world is his biggest.
To me, like actually, that's what I got my 370Z because he was one of the first one to actually put in work with the.
Yeah, he was street racing
with the 350Z. You know, he was street racing back in the days. Now his car, I don't think he's all there. I've seen him lately.
I mean, he's been posting publicly about him struggling with that shit.
I think my stock 350Z can take him. To be honest, I don't see that car moving anymore.
I mean,
but back in the days.
My thing, bro, is like if you're on your tuner's sack like that about how he's the best in the world and all this shit, but then like you're going out in public saying you can't figure out why your car won't hold boost, why won't this, why it won't that. Like honestly, bro, like my customers don't really do that shit. Like anytime Oscar has had an issue with his car, I don't remember if he's actually had an issue, to be honest, but anytime he's never had to post that shit out in the open like that. Like he would just hit me up like on the low and I'm like, yo, swing by and we'll fix it.
So literally, I think the second time that I got tuned with you, I had like a little slight delay on third gear, and I sent him a file, and literally like 10 minutes later, he sent me another file, and it was fixed.
It's because I was being a pussy with the wastegate tables, and the shit wasn't ramping in hard enough for him. He wanted that 700 foot-pounds at like 2,000 RPM.
Ooh,
yeah.
700 foot-pounds?
Say 3,000.
No, we had the car on the dyno, and the car made like 920, and I was like, yeah, bro, soft boost ramp, maximum grip. He's like, bet. And then he calls me. He's like, yo, this shit weak. Put all that shit in there.
She's like, put my old mat back.
Yeah, he's like, I need
run that shit back.
I need the old wastegate duty tables. And I'm like, there you go.
And my engine being Holden, I mean, like I said, it's been put together by 18 years old. I want to shout out to Jorge. He did an amazing job with that engine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you was talking about Freshkicks. Yeah, I mean,
he's been racing forever.
Yeah, he's been racing forever. He's one of them.
I would say his brand is like a staple.
Yeah. He put, like the name out there at first. I mean, now I don't think the car's doing any work. Like when you come to the fastest ones now, I think there's a lot of faster car than he is. A lot of faster BQs.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to stay away from the 60-130 stuff and the racing.
That's another thing he always talk about, because most of his viewers, his fans, they be talking about, hey yo, what's your 6130? And I think he just dropped a video recently about 2 months ago about, he ain't chasing that cloud, but
yeah,
your whole thing is about cloud, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You probably just did want him. You run 6 seconds and you don't want to post it, but it is what it is. I mean,
nah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I think the Z is a big part of his brand, but like,
that thing is tough though. I love the color.
I'm not gonna like guess because I don't really know him like that. But
I was just asking because he had a lot of issues with that car. It seems like so. I don't know if you guys know anything.
The shit that doesn't sit right with me is like posting issues out in the open and then like saying your tuner is the fucking best.
He needs to hit up Moncef. Moncef gets you right.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm tuning him.
It's like that.
If he came to you for a tune, would you do it or?
Nah, I don't think I'd want to talk about that on camera. I ain't gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there other stuff that we don't know about that you're?
My turn a little sensitive.
Sensitive. All right, I'll do it.
Nah, yo, Freshkicks, come to the side, bro. Come over here.
I don't know.
We'll get you in the 3 seconds.
Is it mostly because of the risk that you're taking if something does go wrong, or because it's not even a him thing? It's just like in general.
I don't think it's a risk thing. I just think like we're just really two different people.
Okay.
Just because the VQ community is one of the most toxic communities out there.
The VQ community?
VQ community, just everybody being just riding their fucking tuner. And especially like, they be like on Moncef's ass, AdminTuning this, AdminTuning that. He blowing up engine, he's doing this. Bro, like, look at this man's follower. Look at what he's done for the community.
All you gotta do is look at my page.
Yeah, all of the fast BQs, are right here. He's doing all of the fast BQs.
We actually looked at the list because after he went 443, we pulled the list, and there's like 5 cars that I tuned on the 60 to 130 list. Like
top
for
I think my
Japanese cars or
Nissans something like that. I think my stock block 350Z is like top 10 with a stock block.
Yeah.
When you guys say stock block though, is it really?
It's 100% unopened engine.
Okay.
There's nothing, not even oil pump gear.
My
or
350Z
no
is literally a sealed motor from Nissan.
Yeah, it's never been open.
Never
it's got
been
factory
open. Literally,
factory RTV on it and everything.
Just with a boost turbo kit and moon map. That's about it.
Yeah, we should. I think in today's day and age, we should probably switch it to unopened because there's a lot of things that stock block can mean.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever done to my car is just literally gallery gaskets. That's about it.
You did open that shit up?
Nah. It just
we caught him lying on camera. It's crazy.
Nah, that's about it. Yo, shout out to my boy Medes.
Wait, so does that count though? If you
that doesn't count. It's just a
no. It's just the outside. It's just they used to have issues back in the days with the gallery gaskets. I think 09 and down, right? Something like that.
09 and down.
Yeah.
It's just the gasket was made out of paper and the screws were never torqued from factory, so you lose oil pressure.
So yeah, you just gotta. Basically,
he's like, "Damn, we just caught him lying on the pod."
That's wild. You better edit that out. God damn.
So we have this sitting in the background. We didn't even talk about it. Actually, can you explain what's in here?
Yeah. So this is actually my old car, but it belongs to Turbochris back there. Shout out Turbochris. So I've known him for how old were we when we met each other? We were some little kids.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's been like 14 years or something crazy. Yeah. But it's a rod piston motor, still open deck block, no sleeves. What head gasket's in it again? Factory head gasket.
What is the motor? What is the motor?
It's a VQ35 DE.
Okay.
Precision 7275.
Yeah, 7275.
Yeah, 7275, and then everything like
This is drive-by-wire also, it looks like, right?
yeah, it's
No
drive by
cable?
wire. It's got a Haltech on it, 2 fuel pumps, nice little return system, custom catch can, just some really nice tidy stuff.
What does this make on the dyno?
So last time I tuned it, it made 650 wheel, only 17 pounds, just tickling it. 16, excuse me, my fault. 16 pounds, and yeah, it was just spinning on the dyno still. So I think with a little bit more traction, we get close to 700. But yeah, this turbo will do a lot. So he's basically just limited by either wastegate spring or coolant pressure, right? Traction. Yeah. So this is what we started with back in the day. Like this is basically what the cars that I was tuning looked like in 2009, 2010.
Yeah. This was in Fast and Furious. No, was it this one or the one before that?
I was the generation before that. It was a blue
right?
one. Yep.
And was this motor the same back then, or?
The motors were not the same. They were 3 liters instead.
Okay.
So they had different heads and stuff like that, but the architecture was similar. So, but this car is a good running car. It actually has a really nice combo for the street. It lights up pretty quick, but the power, like it holds power top end like really nicely. So it's a really good little combo, and it's light. So 650 wheel goes a long way in a light car.
It's good for road racing or more for digs? Roll.
I don't think it will work on the
That
day.
boy tripping talking about digs. I think he was blowing them off in fourth last time he told me about it.
A transmission from the exit.
Yeah, no cap. No, that transmission's
That transmission is going on the dig.
Is the transmission's no good in these?
they're pretty fragile. I think it's just the way the 2 stacks of gears, like for 1, 3, and 5, 2, 4, and 6, they're not braced at the other end, so like they separate under load.
Okay.
And I think that's what hurts them. But your transmission's been good, right?
The bearings are shot now.
Oh,
input
okay.
shaft bearing?
You just finding this out now?
Fucking tune. Swear to God.
Literally from the dyno, did so many pulls going home. Then I drove it probably like 10 times after that, like within like a month period,
Yeah.
and constantly just beating the shit out of it. And
So it's time.
He made it here though.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's probably just not gonna take any like fast upshifts or anything like that.
Is there a lot of aftermarket support for this?
No, everything on that car is made by him.
Oh shit.
Me and my boy, they all out.
Yeah, all out Motorworks. Shout out All Out Motorworks in Hicksville. They built this whole car, and Admin NYC Dyno.
He's like, yo, you better shout me out, bro.
Follow him. You're gonna be dropping a lot of Instagram names in this.
You
video.
better shout me out.
But
Yeah, this is pretty dope though. It looks
yeah.
looks
sounds
like,
it
more
sounds
modern.
killer. I'll have to send you a couple videos of it, but it's a fun car, bro. Like anytime, like I'm not a fan of front wheel drive anymore. Like I had my fun with it. Like that shit's over with, But like this is like pretty much the last car that I'm like, damn, this thing's.
They only made
beast.
these in front wheel drive?
Yeah, Maximas only came front wheel drive.
Okay.
Wait, actually no. First gens were rear wheel drive. Yeah, never mind.
They were?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was like early '80s. So
Yeah, I remember my ex had a Maxima. That shit moved. I mean, before I had the Super, of course, but it boogied.
oh really?
I think it was like a 20. What year was it? 2014.
Damn.
2014. It's the newer one.
Yeah.
That shit boogied.
Gen.
I don't know what motor was in it though.
Yeah,
Same
they're
one?
all right. No, it's the same. It's called a VQ35 DE, but it's a Gen 2. Gen 2, so different heads, different intake manifold.
So all the DEs across the board, whether in this car or the 350s, they're all the same, just different like tuning or different parts.
There's some different parts, mainly for the front wheel drive. Because
Okay.
with rear wheel drive, like since they transitioned from DE to HR, the front wheel drive never did that. The front wheel drive had stayed DE. It's just that it had different generations. So like you had Gen 2, which was after 2009. And it had different heads, different intake, but the same rotating assembly.
Yeah.
And then Gen 3 had different heads, different intake, and then still the same rotating assembly. So like there's different, like slight differences from one generation to the next, but the architecture is still the same in the front wheel drive cars, and that's why like they stay DE.
Okay. So a lot of this stuff is interchangeable to a certain extent.
Yeah, I would say there's some interchangeability. Most people just throw the Gen 1, like that first gen motor away and put a Gen 2 or Gen 3 in it. But some people are running like Gen 2s with Gen 3 manifolds or some combination of that. We've tuned a few of those. There was a turbo SCR we did for somebody last weekend that It was like a Gen 2 motor with Gen 3 manifold. It made, and like an eBay 64, 66. It made 500 wheel on the stock motor.
Damn.
Only 10 pounds too. So those heads flow really good.
How do you feel about the, I know you mentioned to me before, how do you feel about the Pulsar turbos?
Pulsar is the GOAT. Kiss the ring.
In terms of reliability?
Chinese.
Chinese.
So I switched from Precision to Pulsar on my 370Z, and the Pulsar made more power. It stopped smoking. It stopped leaving oil on the ground, and it's been reliable ever since, and I daily it.
You're not the, all right, I'm not going to bash any brands, of course, right? I'm not sponsored or anything by Precision, but I've heard this before about the smoke and the oil.
So Precision, I've run Precision turbos
Precision's
for a
pretty good.
long time on my Z. I had a 6266, I had a 6875, and I had a 7675 Precision. And I had two 7675 Precisions actually, because one of them was a refresh from Precision also. So I think it's very application dependent. Like on a top mount car that doesn't care about shaft speed, like turbo shaft speed, for example, Evos, Skylines, Supras, anything that you put the turbo in the motor and that can oil gravity drain, and you can run basically like infinity boost and it's not going to split the shaft, like Precision is still like the way to go. It's very hard to beat, especially with their next gen stuff coming out. But the Pulsar worked really well for my VQ because I wasn't trying to run like over 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And the compressor cover and the aerodynamics on the wheel got me a lot of power at really low boost. Like the most I had ever made on a Precision 7675 was 840 horsepower on 23 pounds of boost. I switched to the Pulsar 7375G, bigger compressor cover, but smaller wheel. And it made 900 wheel horsepower at the same boost. And I think it spooled up a little quicker. The spool difference is probably pretty negligible, but the peak power difference, like you can't really deny that. I did it on the same dyno. It was the same motor in the car. Like everything else was like either the same or like really similar.
Yeah.
Tuning strategy was the same. So it's like, damn, like it just depends on the application. But you know, I really like Pulsar.
Yeah.
They put in work. So
Have you ever ran a Garrett turbo?
They put in.
Pricey, but I mean, have you ever ran one?
yeah, I got Garrett G35 1050s on my GTR.
How do you feel about the Garretts?
They're tough. I mean, I have no complaints on mine.
No issues, no smoking, no.
No smoke. They sound great. They make power. Like when I made 1540, I still wasn't even running 50 pounds of boost. I was at 48 pounds of boost. Those turbos could probably do like 65, 70 all in. So the only thing with Garrett stuff, like I said, the turbo shaft speed is you have to watch it at high boost levels because they don't like a ton of shaft speed. So they're super efficient. You just don't want to run them past like what their speed rating is at.
Right.
So you need to get a sensor on there. You need to see what your shaft speed is. And basically the party ends when you're past that speed limit. So, you know, on the older cars where you have to run 40 pounds of boost to make any type of power, like a 4G63 or a SR20 or a 1J or 2J, like Precision's better because it doesn't care.
Right.
You know, you can run infinity shaft speed and they won't care. But Garrett and Pulsar, they both like you gotta use measured, a little bit more measured boost control strategy.
Okay. All right. So you care if we answer some questions from people?
No, go ahead. You got it.
No. If there's anything we didn't cover that you feel like we should cover.
Damn.
Yet.
We've been talking for a minute, honestly. I've been talking way too long.
Nah. We gotta let them know.
We're gonna answer some questions that you guys have sent. It's a good amount of questions. So I'm not gonna go through all of them. It's too many. All right. So ask admin how his customer service is. I'm tuned by him, by the way.
I definitely think my customer service could be better. Just trying to be objective and not gas myself up on here. But I really do put a lot of effort into replying to people quickly and with detailed explanations. So, you know, it's a work in progress. But if you're annoyed with one of my replies, or if you're, you know, if you need something on your tune, or if you have a complaint or an issue or something like that, like I'll listen to you. I'm not gonna completely brush you off. Like, please, like, be open about, you know, the issues that you have and be forthcoming with that information, and then we can work together on fixing it, because most of these guys are remote tunes. They can data log, we can review issues and basically fix the issue. If it's tune related, or if it's not tune related, I can pretty much just tell you what to fix and we can move forward.
Who is the best VQ tuner?
Oscar, you got that one.
I mean, tuning for the win. No, I mean, Moncef is the GOAT. I mean, you don't see other tuners, going state through state, you're tuning cars,
Yeah.
He's the only one to do that, because they want his tunes everywhere. And
So who's a close second?
Moncef.
He's good. You got him trained, bro? What's going on here?
Yo, I was like, hey, fly over here with your own money with no notice.
Nah.
Tell me
Shout out to
how
you, bro. So he came out here on his
Yeah.
own just to do the podcast. That's love,
Facts.
bro.
Yeah, I mean,
dope.
you got to support,
Yeah.
Yep.
At least you got that, man. That's
But
great.
There's a couple of really good tuners out there
Thanks.
that have really good strategies.
I think the only
you know.
tuner that I will get tuned by, other than Moncef, which I will never do that, is Martin. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's in,
RS Enthalpy.
Is there an IG name?
Yeah, that's their IG name.
Okay.
The guy's
Nice.
name is Martin, but he's been tuning Nissan
pretty
ECUs
good.
since like 2001. He's been in the
damn.
game for a minute. Yeah.
He's in there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. He's locked in.
shout out to his work.
Yep.
Okay, so are cams good for turbo setups?
Nope. Just go straight up with
On
a
a-
seal engine.
On a
DE
DE,
probably,
yeah.
yeah.
On a DE, yeah, because
Yeah.
they got them pussy ass, trick ass cams from what we
Yeah.
talked about earlier. But yeah,
That's right.
no, but HR and VHR, like you don't need all that.
It's too much money and work.
It's a lot of effort for very little.
So VQ platform in terms of performance and in comparison to other popular engines, which we kind of touched on with the inline and the V. But if there's any other,
It's a little weird because a lot of these VQ powered cars are trash from a dig, and they don't launch that great
Yeah.
don't launch that great in either manual or automatic form. Like, it's a BMW is a lot faster from a dig. Most BMW powered cars are going to be a lot quicker, like from out of the hole. But a turbo or supercharged VQ making 600 horsepower or so, which is what most of them do, like stock internals. It's hard to beat from a roll.
Yeah.
They're pretty
We've
quick.
had a lot of kills, and like you can go on my Instagram page and see like a regular G37 sedan homemade turbo kit in the front yard clapping red eyes and shit like that.
Red Eye, CO6s.
CTSVs, Z06s. I mean,
Yeah.
Shewantsthezeee, perfect example.
Yeah.
He raced the C7 ZR1 when he was stock motor.
Yeah.
He sat right next to him too.
damn,
So it's like, I mean, I think from a roll they shine,
yeah,
but it is really hard to get them to go from a dig.
I think-
And a lot of it is driving. Like I learned when we went to the track, driving Oscar's 350, I could get it to leave pretty good. Like 155 60 foot and a stick shift car is pretty good. But I think a lot of the guys, like they get their turbo kit, they get their car tuned.
Yeah.
They want to go to the track. I want the stickiest tire. Okay, let me go to the track. Let me stage my car. Let me get on the two-step. So they're on a two-step on a prep track with a radial in a stick shift car. Maximum drivetrain shock possible. And they're like, I don't know why I keep scattering drivetrain parts. This platform's trash. So like I get in there, I just free rev it, give the clutch like a little soft slip, get the car to like kind of like get off the line like kind of smooth and just punch it. And then the car, I went 155 60 foot. It's okay for a first time out, first time in the car, and car trap's nearly 140. So it's like stock motor, they work pretty good.
With a smoking clutch.
Oh yeah, that clutch was hating life, but it's nuanced. I feel like they haven't fully flowered yet, but they're really old. They haven't aged well.
right.
So I think they can be competitive. There's a lot of hurt feelings out there with good running VQs, but it's so dependent on like the conditions of the race.
I'll make something happen in Texas 2K for the BQ community.
You got it. You don't owe me shit at this point.
I'm excited. Now I want to see your car run over there.
Take the MK5. I got you.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna be in a tour in a rental.
MK5 seeing G37 taillights.
So, in their opinion, who is the next fastest VQ 370Z after trash?
I believe right now.
Yeah.
Oh damn. So tuned by us or tuned by?
I think it was just in general. Who's the next fastest after trash?
So Soho Motorsports, their drag car was a second place 60 to 130.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. But I haven't seen that car out like
It's
in
in
2
Texas?
years.
North Carolina. I
North
think.
Carolina.
So
But I think when
And-
they ran it, they were saying the car was making like 1100.
1100 and
So there's a dramatic horsepower difference.
it was light. I mean, I haven't seen that car like the whole year though. Like I
That's
don't know if-
officially the next fastest one on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
We have one coming out. Actually, I remote tuned for a shop in Canada called GZ Motorsport. and we've done a lot of like fast turbo cars together.
Yeah.
We did a stock motor mid-mount car with like just an off-the-shelf mid-mount kit, basic stuff. Went 580, 60 to 130 consistent. He did like 3 or 4 back-to-back runs. 19s, stock 19s, triple 8s, a little bit of boost by gear sauce, and it would just go 580s, one after the other. Full interior car. The DA in Canada was on our side. I ain't gonna lie, like their air is crisp up there.
Yeah,
but it wasn't crazy. So it's like that car was running good. He's doing a twin 62 millimeter turbo kit on a 4-liter stroker VQ sleeved. So that's going to be kind of the next thing that we're going to do. And hopefully we make like 1050, 1100, but that's going to be like the next thing. You know, shout out to GZ Motorsport. We done a lot of badass shit with them.
Yep.
And
what about that one guy? I think it's from the Middle East, don't by you?
Oh yeah, Nabras.
Yeah, his
or
thing is
Michal.
moving.
Michal, yeah. So his car went 550, spinning the entire time.
He's spinning with a passenger full interior.
Full interior with passenger, and not full boost yet, because I did like boost on different maps.
Yeah.
So like map 3 of 4, like 25 pounds, and then he's got like 28 pounds on the 4th map. Didn't even make it that far, but he went 550. Spinning in 3rd and 4th on Mickey Thompson with full interior.
I mean, there's a lot of nice build 370Cs. We're just waiting on their. Ace has a pretty good car. He just needs a better turbo setup. Dog Boy. I mean, there's a lot of nice 370Cs out there. They just, I don't know. They just needs to put in that work, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Tying everything together is harder than it looks for this car.
Yeah.
These cars seem to be a little bit more. They just need a little bit more finesse, I guess.
3.69 or a 3.3 ratio for boosted cars.
3.5.
3.5 is king.
3.53
Yep, 3.53
by far.
So
if it's boosted.
I went the same 60 to 130 with a 369 and a 353, but once you get over 800 wheel, 353 wins.
Any day, anytime. I run 3.5s on both of my cars, and they're one of the fastest ones.
I think 369 would work better if you have a single turbo and you need to get up on boost faster and you need more RPM. Because that was my setup, and that shit, like with a 369 and a 7675, it still has some decent snap to it. 353 with a 7375 is like noticeably like a little lazier, like off boost. But when you have twins, or like if you can wait like a little bit longer, like 353 wins up top.
Yep, 3.5 for sure.
That's some good information.
Yeah,
so that's a good question. That was a really good question. So building 37 VHR heads for is it a must for boost?
No, you can leave 100. You can have 100% factory stock head casting, stock ports, stock valve train, and stock cams, and the car will make whatever power you tell it to make, as long as your turbo kit's good enough.
Yeah.
What's the beef with Soho?
Oh damn! Should we talk about that?
I don't even know what that means. Don't know who that is.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that's what I came here for.
You want to field this one?
I mean, basically, like he was saying, Shewantsthezeee, he was one of the fastest stock blocks out there. And then he bought an engine, I don't know for how much, but they say it runs for $25,000, capable of 1,300 wheel horsepower, bulletproof and all this stuff. And I mean, that was 3 years ago. And they sent out like, what, 10, 15 engines, and I haven't seen one, you know, be fast or do a pass, you know, nowhere. And Griffin, I mean, his engine couldn't even make 900. And it was a engine designed for 1,300 wheel horsepower. And after that, they didn't want to take the blame, which is a big shop, you know, like SCR, you know. The people that built my car, it blew up, but, you know, like, it was tune related, so they took the blame and they built me a better engine, and, you know, I'm still running that engine.
Right.
And Soho didn't want to do that, you know. They blame it on the turbo kit, they blame it on Moncef, you know, instead of just give that guy a new engine, you know, give that guy a new engine. You guys are a big company, and, you know, and he was putting in work for them, you know. A lot of people was getting those engines because of Griffin. Mm-hmm. And basically that was the whole issue, you know. It was just back and forth. There's a guy right now named Alpha running the same engine. And, well, he don't post his numbers, but pretty sure he haven't been able to make more than 900, you know, to the wheel. And it's an engine supposedly designed to make 1,300 and with better, you know, head stuff and all that crap, you know. which at the end of the day, they're just lying to customers. Because, I mean, their car was fast. It's the second fastest after mine. Mm-hmm. But, you made 1,100 horsepower supposedly on that dyno. Supposedly, because you don't run like it. But that's about it. That's the only fast thing that ever came out of that shop.
So, without going into too much detail, this is a company that I spent a lot of money with also. Because I pushed their supercharger kit for a few years.
Okay.
I was running it on my own car, and then I was selling it to my own customers. So we had ordered a lot of their kits, and then they knew I was tuning Griffin's car. And, once Griffin had issues, the way they moved was definitely like pretty suspect. So like I said, I'm not going to sit here and like drag them like on the podcast or whatever, but we pretty much I don't expect free shit. I don't expect my customers to get free shit. It's motorsports, but we sent the engine to a different machine shop, completely unbiased. They took the entire thing apart and they basically debunked like all of the points of failure that they had made up.
Yeah.
The other part of this is they didn't really have to take the actions that they took, but they wanted to get ahead of it by basically putting a video out before, like we were still talking about it amongst ourselves in private, and it didn't have to be like a public thing. Right. But like they basically made a video to try to get in front of it before any of us could make it public. And I wasn't planning on publicly saying shit, but they wanted to do all that. So talked to a machine shop. Had him look over the entire engine. He basically debunked everything. There's a lot of like little technical details about like bearing wear and like the way the head gasket looks and the way the crown of the piston looks and all this shit. And it was just like the way it was handled after, like not only Griffin spent that money, but I personally had spent a lot of money with them. I had pushed a lot of their products on my platform with them. And I was also running their products in my own personal car, so so it was kind of messy, but it's like, I get it. Like the main thing, like I feel bad about is like Shewantsthezeee. Yeah, like we got some good news yesterday. Actually,
he's coming
even
back.
Though he couldn't make it here, he's making a comeback. It's going to be wild. I'm excited for it. And every Z is getting put on a t-shirt. Yep. Every VQ powered car getting put on a t-shirt. No matter what shop, no matter what build.
Maxima t-shirt.
Any like VQs, B58s, V8s, anything.
Yo, Griffin, start copying my setup.
Yeah, you should copy his setup and just do bigger turbos. I'm a copy the map. I already got it ready. Let me know.
Start copying my setup, all right? Top mount. No,
so we got some good news, and he's gonna be making a comeback. So we're very happy to hear that. That's one of the number one admin tuning steppers for sure. So we're looking forward to seeing what he does. But that's basically it in a nutshell. No hard feelings though.
That was handled pretty professionally, I think.
Man.
I mean, you had both sides of it. You had more of a customer side of it, and you had more of like,
Yeah, but I already said people were on wild dick earlier, so I can't use that more than once in one episode.
Like me, right? I'm a customer, right? Let's say I spent $25,000 for an engine that's supposed to be the best thing out there,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you don't even make it out the dyno.
Yeah,
$25,000 just on the engine. Then you gotta worry about the fuel setup, the turbo setup, and all this extra stuff. You know what I mean? And
yep. Nah, we get it. I mean,
so
it's tough on all sides for sure.
NorCal or SoCal dyno days?
Oh man, this is a good one. So I like both. I got love for Cali, and Cali is my state. That entire state belongs to me. So shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to Diaz Works Performance.
Shout out to Diaz
out there too, and shout out to Dad's G37S over there too, and Red Zone, my boy Geith out there. Shout out to all them because they helped pull it all together. But they both got their ups and downs. I will say SoCal got more turbo cars, but NorCal got better weather. NorCal, crisp Bay Area weather. That DA is nice. You'd be making some New York numbers in the fall out there in Cali.
Yeah. Well, recently I was talking to somewhere from California, thinking the we in Texas run better numbers, you know, because it's better in Texas, but they don't know when they come.
Texas is closer to sea level.
Yeah,
SoCal be struggling.
Once they come to Texas, they'll see it's hard to be fast in Texas. They just different.
Nah, yeah. I mean, that happened like 8 years ago. You remember Dirtbag?
No idea what that is.
So it was an 800 horsepower G35 built by
that one.
Your boy Nismo Nights.
Yeah, the tin can.
Have you guys seen that? There's this Fast Infiniti G35, a blue one on social media. Later, man.
All
Ntish.
right, man, y'all be easy, bro.
It's he has YouTube as well.
Oh, Ntish. That's my boy.
That's your boy.
I mean, he cool. I'm cool with him, but
What's his Instagram name?
Ntish 21, I think.
Ntish something.
He's pretty all over.
He's got
the
some
place.
money in that car.
Yeah, he got some money on the car. I think it's one of the best sounding BQs
It's a
out
dark
there.
blue one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I mean,
Shout out to Ntish for spending money on a G35 though, because he got the best of everything. I think on that car. I think.
I don't think it's that
crazy.
fast though. It sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy.
He'll admit, because I'm not even gonna say shit, but like he'll admit that he knows it's not that fast.
No, it's not that fast, but it's a nice, pretty build, and it sounds amazing.
It's very nice and it drives nice, and he spent some money. You can't knock it.
Is turbo better than supercharger on the VQs?
On BQ and
Turbo always wins.
BQ,
Supercharger's
BQ
cool
low
for like some casual shit. Like I daily my Infinity and that shit cool. You know, it makes little noises and stuff.
Yo, mid mount.
Here and there.
Mid mount is the way.
Yeah, stock motor, mid mount is king. Mid mount turbo.
Mid mount turbo.
Yep.
Who is BTW?
Oh damn, we don't need to acknowledge who they are if they don't know. Next question.
What do you guys think about the 400Z?
So it's not called a 400Z. It's just called a Z.
The Z. Yeah.
I think it's a great car.
Is there any, what are the differences between that?
You want me to break that down for you?
I mean, I don't know.
It's the same engine.
So yeah, no, it's a good car. So it's a really good platform for a starting point, because VR30 from the Q50 and Q60, like, yeah, it showed potential, but then like you put it in a Z. So it's like cool looking, like more sporty, lighter. Is it lighter? Maybe lighter.
Probably, I don't know.
But the key transmission, 9-speed auto.
No speed, yeah.
That thing fucks. So Mark Robert from Sonic Tuned in Connecticut, he's got a fast little Z, man. That thing's, I mean, when I say fast, like it's fast for like stock motor and stock frame turbos. Like it's, but the 9-speed combined with like having a lighter chassis is going to be a really like big deal moving forward. Because the Q50s and Q60s, they were always fighting weight, and they still did pretty well drag racing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you imagine like a gangster turbo kit on a Z and like a little converter and some suspension. Like it's gonna put in work on the dragster for sure. VR30s aren't really like I'm not like gonna go out of my way to like pursue like a VR30 build like myself personally, but I've tuned a new Z already. They do exactly what the Q50s and Q60s do. The tuning strategy is different. It takes a little bit longer because of how the tables are structured, but they make the same power. We did one that downpipes and catback only. It made 430 horsepower and 470 torque on 93 octane. So pretty impressive through the auto, the 9-speed auto.
Yeah.
So they work. You know, they work. I'm just hoping like long-term reliability is there, and you know, that's going to be a good platform, I think. Once it hits that bottom of that depreciation curve, and
I'll take a B58 over there. MK5.
Yeah.
Would you take a B58 over the VR?
Yeah. I mean, I already my wife, shout out to Brienne, she owns a M3 comp already. So that BMW corruption is starting to seep into our household. So I'm about to have to go get another M3 for myself or something.
Damn.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, bro got it like that.
No, I'm broke. Either that or just get the Lambo already.
Get the Lambo.
Yeah.
Or R8.
A little Huracan.
R8 for sure for me.
Nah, I could never.
I think that's pretty much. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Like I say,
For
any
Texas?
BQ wants to run me, pull up to Texas 2K. That easy.
Yep. TX2K. The red
Any
car.
BQ.
The red car is going to be ready. Well, the red car and the black car. You want action with the black car?
I don't think stock block can handle with the black car. But if
No,
they
I'm
want to
talking
smoke
about your car.
my car.
Your 370.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take both of them. I'm gonna take out the Thursday. I'm gonna take out the black one, and then the weekend I'm gonna take out the red one.
Okay.
Anybody wants to smoke, we can do morning runs too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to save that.
Any BQ.
I'm gonna have to save it for the next track rental. I still got work to do on my shit. So sorry.
Any supers also? Any B58s?
Oh yeah, I have a race lineup with a MK5J. I think it is. It's a pretty solid run. I mean, it's a big turbo MK5. Pretty sure it's running 800, 900 to the wheel.
Yeah,
should be a pretty good run.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you guys out in Texas.
Yeah.
So let the viewers know where to find you guys on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you have, Facebook.
You got it.
370 Trash, Instagram and YouTube.
AdminTuning on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, AdminTuning.com website, Admin NYC Dyno for dyno tuning in New York, Northeast, New England area. So you know where to find us. There's multiple ways. We have a scheduling number to make appointments for tuning. Also through the shop Houston, if you need your GTR tuned, or if you need your Skyline tuned. Kind of the man over there. He'll put it on the schedule. So
Yep.
shout out to him and Brienne and the whole team. We got. Well, it's not just me anymore. It's a little organization. So
Yeah.
you know, got to make sure. And shout out to 370 Trash for coming out here.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, for
Street
sure.
Alpha Podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Street Alpha.
Shout out to GZ Motorsport and Shewantsthezeee, heavy hitters.
Shout out to Griffin, man.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to
Son.
shout out to the BQ Gang group chat. Shout out to the Sen City group chat, and shout out to the Polka group chat.
Also, you do ghost cam tuning too, right? You want to get your ghost cam? If you want your 350, 370 to chop, you could definitely hit them up too.
Man.
How do we get in contact with you for that, or is there a way to get in contact?
You
with
can just DM me on Instagram. You might get blocked. Honestly, like I don't mind doing it, but with VVT, like with VVT VQs, like it's hit or miss. Like your results will vary. And a lot of it has to do with them pussy ass cams they come with from factory, though. I already talked about that. So you know, but we'll try something.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I'm glad we did it. See, I told you we'd be here till like 12 o'clock if we started at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, no worries, dude. I believed you.
So I'm glad we actually got everything answered.
Thank you for having us.
The listeners also got their questions answered.
For sure, man.
So shout out to you guys. And yeah, hope to see you guys in Texas.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it.
So until next time, guys, make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys are listening on all streaming platforms, and catch you on the next one. Peace.